Judgment time.
Welcome to Everything Comes Back to 2000 AD, and today we're joined by Mr. Stephen Ross.
Mr. Rossy, what you want? Oh, the tree of ice cream cones, a cocoa castle for a home, custard cakes, coffee breaks, holiday, we're on the stage.
Hello, we've got, according to the astrologers, a huge wave of sun explosion energy showering the earth last night and this morning. So enjoy it.
And Mr. John Burtis.
Hello to all you druckers out there. It's me, the soul man from the southeast of England, the Garden of England, in fact, where it's a bit overcast and a bit damp, and that's about it.
What debts have you got for us, John? We just go straight into it?
Yes, and then we'll talk about the saddest death of all, my car. But anyway, let's get on.
You didn't feel safest of all, huh?
No, oh, it's a fun story, but we'll get to it. First up, we've got Scott Adams, age 68, American comic creator of Dilbert, who died of metastatic prostate cancer. Apparently, he was much loved until he said something, then he was hated by the lunatics. So let's have a look on his stuff.
Basically, he was taken completely out of context.
No.
He was talking about a study that came out. Basically, the study was saying how some people feel safer in other neighborhoods than usual neighborhoods, kind of like a race relations thing. And he talked about it, and he was pointing to the study, and he said, "Well, why would you want to live in a neighborhood where people don't like you?" Like, so in other words, saying that the study was kind of like a bit of a mess, or he'd do that all the time. He would have these different studies, like scientific studies and stuff that was just common sense that there was no need to do a study on. So people heard some bits and pieces of that, took it out of context, and tried to cancel him.
They tried to cancel him like long before that. That was just
they were looking for an excuse, really, because he became a Trump supporter. Not really a Republican. He would say he's not Republican, but he was a liberal, and he was a Democrat for such a long time. And then in 2015, he started to see, he was one of the first predictors that predicted that Trump would become president. So yeah, and because his support for Trump and what Trump was doing, he lost a lot of friends and a lot of newspapers and stuff like that. So they tried to cancel him before, but that was the thing that they used to beat him. And when just 5 seconds after he died, of course, People magazine put like disgraced cartoonist Scott Adams. It's just
wow.
The bashing went right in. Yeah,
wow.
and when you look at who the reporter was or who wrote the article, she was a big fat blue-haired far left-wing douchebag. And because she got so much blowback from what she had written, they changed her name to put from the article. They took her name off it and just put People staff writer on it instead, so she wouldn't get much blowback. But scumbags are absolute scum. It's like
did they change that headline too?
No, they just changed it to staff writer so she wouldn't get any hassle.
But they didn't take out the disgraced or the editorializing? Wow. Okay.
No, they're absolute. It's an agenda. They're absolute scumbags. So it's like when Rennie Good got shot. They put Minnesota woman shot by ICE. You know what I mean? They don't say she was protesting or she was like using her car to block like getting away. Or the latest one was the funny one was ICE shoot Minnesota man, and it turns out that the guy wasn't from Minnesota. He was there illegally from Venezuela, and him and two other guys attacked him with shovels. So they're just scum. The press over here, and the BBC is pretty funny with it too, because they do the same thing. I see the articles all the time.
Well, remember when they were trying to build up the Maryland man, and it's like, well, he's a illegal immigrant who they're like, oh, well, he was like caught up in the cartels. It's like, well, he wasn't with that cartel. He was with another cartel, and they were off to. The reason they were stopped was because they were off to go do some human trafficking. like it gets worse. It's like, oh, he was married. Well, there was like she had like what do they call the thing where they're not supposed to get near him, the legal. Anyway, she had like a thing where he wasn't supposed to get near her because he had abused. Like the more you dug into the story, the more it was just kind of like
the more worse it got.
Yeah, but he was the Maryland man, so because it makes it sound like he's from Maryland. It has a nice alliteration. It's catchy. They're scum. They are.
Oh, they had another story the other day. It was on X where this activist posted it, where this woman, her baby and her husband were taken out of a car by ICE, and she's screaming, the baby's crying, and the dad has a seizure. Right, and the activist wrote underneath, well, this is disgraceful. This should not be happening. ICE should be get rid of ICE. Blah blah blah. And then if you grok it and ask Grok what the story was, you'd find out that Grok does a deep dive and find out that a woman actually had an arrest warrant out because she stabbed somebody. Right, she was in the country illegally.
Okay.
The husband faked the seizure to make it look sympathetic.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
And also, if he has a seizure, he shouldn't be driving a car.
Oh, he was driving?
Yeah, so all that stuff was in there.
Oh,
you're like,
wow.
You're like, the whole thing was all set up, like a big setup. Like when she's getting taken out of the car and she's screaming, and the husband faking a seizure. It's like, oh my God, man.
So to me, you tell me the stories and you share the stuff on X with us, and I read it, and it's like it's a few seconds, and it's like it can be entertaining, or it can be like that's fucked up. To me, the whole bottom line to all of this is that the difference between Trump's ICE in 2026 and Obama's ICE in the 8 years he was in office, or George Bush's ICE, or who was before
Clinton?
Was Clinton before Obama? No. Yeah, well,
it was Clinton, Bush, Obama.
Okay, yeah. So any one of those three presidents before 2000, around 2008 and before, the only difference between the Trump ICE and those guys' ICE, and there's videos of Obama using like the exact same kind of harsh language, like you don't belong here and you need to learn English and get out if you can't assimilate, and all that kind of stuff. The difference is social media, and everybody's got a camera on their phone.
Well, it's not just that. It's not just that. Anything Trump does, they have to hate.
Well, yeah, there's that. But, well, yeah, and also the other thing is that, like, a little more than half the country absolutely despises the president. But still, I mean, they made the ICE thing like this giant issue, but it's like, if they weren't able to record their protests, would they bother to do it? If people didn't know that they were out there gallantly protesting, would they still be doing it? If they weren't, like, finger quotes, documenting everything ice does, would they still be? If you couldn't live stream yourself dancing across the street from the ice building with your fireworks and your hibachis and everything else that goes on, if you couldn't make yourself a little mini celebrity for a weekend, would they still be doing it? And I would argue, yeah, probably not. Yeah. Also, I mean, the ice raids don't look good. I mean, they don't look good on camera. They look rough. It looks scary. It looks like what we've been trained to. Every movie since from 2012 Judge Dredd to THX 1138, all those dystopian future movies. That's what that looks like.
Yeah.
But I mean, is it my
Well, look who
place
they're
to?
removing, Rossy. They're not removing normal people. They're removing child molesters and predators.
We want them, though. We need them to vote.
So there's stories about like, what was it, 60-40? So there is like a 40% of people who like worked in a car wash or worked in a restaurant or something, and they raided the restaurant or whatever. But like you said, Clint, and it breaks my heart to admit it, but it's like there's this criminal economy that, if you're here illegally, then you're probably getting paid under the table and therefore probably not paying taxes. You probably don't want to be on the grid, so you don't have a driver's license or insurance. There's a cash only swap meet economy in the Hispanic cities that like you literally do not have to shop at a Target or any store that would take credit cards, or you can just go to the swap meet, buy all your groceries, buy all your clothes, buy all your kitchen supplies, buy a house. They literally have tables where like they'll show photos of houses that you could buy at the swap meet. So, and all of that, it's low-key criminal stuff, but it also leaves the people way open to be exploited. So it's such a gray area, and that's like, I can't touch it.
I don't think getting gang members or child molesters off the streets or illegally and getting them back in their own countries or in their own prisons is one of those issues, Rossy.
No, I mean, for that 60%, I mean, again, like I keep saying, during the lockdowns, we were told that if you could, they would tell you what the odds were of, if you don't wear a mask and you transmit it to somebody, what are the odds that it's going to kill somebody? And they were pretty astronomical. But then they would come back with, well, if you could save just one life, wouldn't you? And it's like, well, if somebody who was technically here illegally but just working in a car wash has to go back where they came from, but also the trade-off is he was working with a child molester or a murderer, and who they were sweeping the gas station, they were sweeping the car wash, and they got that guy too. It's like, at what cost? And it's such a gray area thing that, like, I don't want to.
It's not a gray area at all. It really isn't a gray area. When you come into the country illegally, you've broken the laws. You've broken the law, so you get out. And I'll give you an example. I know someone that worked with a lady from India.
Yeah.
Right. And her son was born here actually her son was born in India. And but he's been living here with the family, with her and her husband for last 18, 20 years, whatever. The minute he turned 18, he was told to get out of the country, go back to India, because he wasn't an American citizen. Now he didn't grow up in India. He didn't know much about the culture, didn't speak the language. But that was the parents' fault.
Yeah, and that sounds like a comedy movie waiting to get made.
I mean, they have to go and get their visas renewed and stuff like that. But because the kid hit 18, he shouldn't be in the country anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that's like that's the Indian equivalent of the Cheech and Chong, or the Cheech and Chong.
So
movie
whose fault
Cheech
is that?
To go back to Mexico.
Yeah. So whose fault is that? Is that the government's fault?
No, you're right. Okay, so legally, you're right. Legally, it's not a gray area. I'm compassionate towards the bleeding heart stories of like, oh, they just were here keeping a low profile, trying to make a better life for themselves. But it's kind of like, yeah, and
You
sadly,
do it legally.
well, sadly, yeah. Well, you did it, so I totally get why you're like, God damn it, I could do it, you could do it too. So I get that too. So, but it's all of this stuff can't be solved with like Instagram posts of like 2 lines and 90-second videos. I mean, this it's this whole making a whole like political infotainment thing out of it is just all it does is make people miserable, in my opinion, because you feel bad for. I mean, some people feel bad for the people who are caught up in it. Some people are glad to see the other people go away, but then it's like, is ICE towing the line 100%? There's stories about them being a little aggressive, and I don't know what to believe. So I'm like, just let me watch the AI slop.
Why do you think the stories of them being why do you think the stories of them being aggressive means they're being aggressive? Why do you think that is? Why do you think they're being aggressive? You think somebody in the country that's here illegally and wants to stay here is going to go quietly?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, there is that too. So, yeah, sure. Again, I mean, it's like, are they being aggressive to the guy who's just kind of chilling at the car wash and coming along quietly, or are they being aggressive to the guy who knows that he's probably going to end up in some prison in El Salvador and is running for his life? So it's like, I don't know. I mean, again, I just don't like I'm getting tired of the economy of constant feed of that kind of thing. And it's like, and you have to like now the concern with the AI stuff was like, oh, we're not going to know what's real. Well, I just saw 2 videos of Martin Luther King talking shit because it was Martin Luther King Day, and there was those AI videos where he's like talking some ghetto shit. And
so where are these protests taking place, Rossy? What states? Are they blue states or red states?
Literally like a mile from where I work.
Right, and in these blue states have law enforcement been told to help them or hinder ICE?
Oh yeah.
Why aren't these things happening in red states?
You have the state government telling people like,
right,
get in their way and get in their face. Yeah, it's a mess. Basically, it's a mess. I mean, like I said, like people are complaining about the AI slop not being able to tell what's true. I could tell that wasn't actually Martin Luther King talking ghetto shit, but with the finger quotes real stuff, it's like I can't. It could be 100% actual real footage of real human beings, but the way it's presented, edited, spun, everything else, it's like I don't know what's up. I want to believe that, law enforcement officers are doing the right thing, but they're human beings too. So I don't know. So just anyway. Did somebody else die, John?
There's Adventures in Trumpland for this week, John.
Excellent.
Okay,
so we got that out of the way, or you had something else?
Well, I'm hoping they arrest Don Lemon and throw him in a jail cell over what he did in the church.
What did he do in the church, real quick?
Him and a group of protests. Of course, they're organized. They're always organized. Went into a church and disrupted the church service.
For what reason?
The pastor is associated with ICE, the pastor of the church, and
wow.
They went to disrupt it, and of course Don Lemon says it's protected under the First Amendment, and like, no, it's not. Freedom of speech is protected when you want to bear grievances against the government. It's not protected in the church. The church is not the government.
That's almost that you're coming close to yelling fire in a crowded movie theater.
Right. It's like when they arrested they arrested these old ladies outside an abortion clinic for yelling and stuff because they weren't the appropriate distance away from the abortion clinic, right? And they got 40 years for it, right? So these idiots went into a church and did it. And the thing is, it's basically an act of terrorism, because you see all the little kids in that church and they're all crying, they're all afraid of their lives, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know they're going to break into that church and break out the guns, start firing. You don't know what these lunatics are going to do. The fact that they did it at a church, and the thing is that it's the Faces Act, I think, is the one that they're going to get them on. And the Faces Act was, I think, was brought into being to, I could be wrong on this, I'll have to double check it, to combat the Ku Klux Klan. Because the Klan would do this on black churches. So it'll be interesting to see if Don Lemon gets convicted of a Klan law, and him being a black dude.
Right. Well,
of course, if they arrest him, he'll start crying. I'm a black gay man. How dare they? They're showing their white privilege and white supremacy. Dude, you're not supposed to do that in a church. And he's trying to back off from everything, saying, "Well, I'm a journalist." Nope. If you know people are breaking the law, and you're a journalist and you go along with it, you're party to that.
Technically, I suppose it doesn't fall under this, but it's one of those things like, but it kind of does. I mean, isn't that like violating freedom of religion? Like, shouldn't a church be sanctuary? And
yes,
sanctuary. Yeah, I mean, the bills. Shouldn't they be free to worship in the church without some political asshole coming in and disrupting shit? I mean,
yep, exactly.
Okay, all right.
So that's they're going to get the book thrown at them.
Good.
One of the protesters that went in there is a school supervisor somewhere. She said something to do with school management. Like, these are the people teaching your fucking kids.
Yeah, well, I mean,
this is all part of the fucking infiltrate another country with its bollocks, and you defeat them when it comes to war.
Well, and when you put finger quotes in the teaching thing, because like I've been watching these videos about the horrific stuff going on in the classrooms, and it's not the teachers seem like legit, but then the behavior that the kids have learned, because they're watching outrageous shit on Instagram and X and all these other places and TikTok, and so they see people getting away with it without consequences and assume that that's okay everywhere. In fact, after we're done with the deaths, I'll start a new segment called Things That Piss Me Off, which might as well be Old Man Shouts at Clouds, but I don't care, because I am next year I'm 60, so I will be old man. So actually this year I'll be 60. So anyway, but John, speaking of old people, anyone else die?
Oh, we still in the deaths. Right.
Sorry.
Well, the Scott Adams, I had lots of stuff on the Scott Adams thing about his weird life he had, which was interesting. So if you want to have a read, people, it's all on Wikipedia. About, I mean,
well, he's a trained hypnotist.
Well, no, the weirdest thing that I found was, let me just scroll down to it. Here we are. He, in the early 1990s, the little finger of his right hand would spasm when he tried to draw, and he was diagnosed with focal dystonia.
Yeah, he couldn't speak for a while. You have to learn how to speak.
Hang on, we're getting to that. Oh, you're jumping the gun. So he said he cured himself by doing conditioning exercises, but in 2004 returned, which affected his ability to draw for lengthy periods. And what he did then was he drew on a graphic tablet, and he subsequently switched from using his right hand to his left hand, which must have been quite difficult. He also had spasmodic
Well, if you see those Dilbert cartoons, it's not that difficult.
Very simplistic, are they?
Yeah.
He also had spasmodic dysphonia, a condition that caused his vocal cords to behave abnormally. And in 2008, he underwent surgery to reroute the nerve conditions to his vocal cords, and his voice reached new levels of functionality. And then obviously with the cancery stuff and all that shit. So he's not been a lucky man in the latter period of his life. So anyway,
well, he was told that he'd never speak again. he'd never be able to speak properly again. And so that's when he researched everything. He researched everything himself.
Wow.
And he found out that you can cure it. And it's kind of like this similar condition that RFK Jr. has. But I heard that RFK Jr.'s condition was vaccine caused. He took a vaccine or something years ago, and that's what caused his voice to be messed up.
Oh, speak like a Dalek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway.
healthy for you.
Right, next up, we've got Kenny Morris, age 68, a British drummer with Susie and the Banshees.
Oh.
Yeah, so self-taught musician. He played on the Banshees' debut album, The Scream, and Join Hands. He left the band at the beginning of the Join Hands tour in September 79. He's been cited as a major influence by several drummers of the post-punk era, including Stephen Morris of Joy Division. I wonder if that's his brother. And Kevin Haskins of Bauhaus. So there we are. That popped up. It was quite actually big on my feed, that was, because obviously the 2000AD stuff's dropped right off and me music stuff right.
Yeah, I have almost no 2000AD and little comic stuff. It's mostly people feeding squirrels now for me.
Excellent. Right, next one. This one's for you, Mr. Ross. Bruce Leong, age 77, Hong Kong martial artist and actor. And the three films it's got down initially to say what he was in were The Return of the Condor Heroes, Broken Oath, and The Legendary Fock. And then when you open his page up, his filmography, he must have about 60 films.
Yeah, they all did.
And you've got names like Kung Fu, the Invincible Fist. I mean, some of them sound like they're porn films, like this next one, Deep Thrust. You've got The Invincible 8, Gangmaster, Vampires Live Again.
Wow.
What's that one? Adventures
Going by these titles, are they all somewhere between like mid 80s to mid late 90s?
He starts 71 to 2020, but the majority, I know it's spread across a lot.
They're probably all mainly 80s or 90s, Rossy. I see a lot of direct-to-video stuff there.
He's got Little Superman. He's got 10 Tigers of Shaolin. He's got Zombies Reborn, Princess and the Seven Kung Fu Masters. So it's a right old mishmash of stuff that you would fucking love.
Yeah, it sounds like the really cheapo stuff too. So the Gonzo cheapo stuff. Yeah. Are any of those directed by Godfrey Ho?
It doesn't go into that much detail.
Okay.
Unless I open them up.
Nah.
Yeah, but the problem is you got red ones which says page that does not exist, but you have got stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, let's have a look. So The Little Superman was directed by Ng Si-yun. What was that name you wanted?
Godfrey Ho.
Right, no, Wing Kip Yip.
I think Godfrey Ho, I think he's most famous for taking 2 or 3 movies and editing them together and then doing wraparounds with American actors. So
like later Corbin movies where they keep on showing Battle Beyond the Stars clips in them, even though that's nothing to do with it.
Yeah, well, that was going back to, I think it was last week's video that I watched about the Alien Terminator, the millennials bagging on bad movies. That was the thing, is that the opening credits had like footage from like 4 other Roger Corman movies, and then there was a shower scene that didn't look anything else like the film grain or the lighting from Alien Terminator, and they're like, that shower scene's got to be from another movie too. So the whole thing was just Frankenstein together from other movies, which is kind of what Godfrey Ho would do as well. Except Alien Terminator kind of makes sense, and Godfrey Ho movies just
don't.
No. Right. So the next one we've got, let me just get that bit back up. Awarenesses is Mark Jones, age 72, American screenwriter and film director of such superb films as Leprechaun, Rumpelstiltskin, Ventriloquist, right? So, film-wise, Leprechaun, writer, director, Leprechaun 2, producer, Rumpelstiltskin, writer, director, he's got Quiet, Kill, Ventriloquist, Scorned. He also plays parts in the latter two. In Ventriloquist, he was known as fucking a goofy guy. And in Scorned, he was cop holding Bootsy. So then you've got loads and loads of TV stuff that he was a writer of. Captain Caveman of the Teen Angels, right? What's New, Mr. Magoo? Scooby's Laugh Olympics, Yogi Space Race, the all-new Popeye Hour, Fangface. Fucking hell, Fangface.
Oh, wow. Good stuff.
Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo. Fuck me. Is that Lobo from the comics?
No, it's from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, the Fall Guy. Yeah, Fall Guy, Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. Oh, fuck me, Scrappy-Doo came in. That was the end of Scooby-Doo for me.
Yeah.
Mr. T, the Rousters, Riptide, the A-Team, Knight Rider, Alf, Werewolf, Police Academy, Superboy, James Bond Jr.
I worked on James Bond Jr.
Did you?
Yep.
Ah.
You know who else
it was basically his nephew at a kind of Hogwarts school for spies.
All right.
Oh my God! You want to know who else worked on James Bond Jr.?
Who?
Ben Dunn.
What did he do on it?
Storyboards.
Yeah, I've probably seen them as well.
He did that in New Kids on the Block.
Yeah, I did that. I did the pilot episode, and I think 2 or 3 other episodes of James Bond Jr.
Holy shit!
On the James Bond Jr.
See, below the James Bond Jr. is one called Wild West COW Boys of Moo Mesa, right?
Yeah, Cowboys.
Right. So when I'm reading the information, it's quite interesting because it says, it can't be. Is a 1992 American animated television series created by comic book artist Ryan Brown, known for his work on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Ryan Brown.
Right.
I know, but that's what it says.
Wow. Well, I mean, there might be another Ryan Brown.
Yeah.
Or Ryan might have done a couple of covers for the comic books.
I've just opened that page up and looked at the Ryan Brown. He looks like a fucking wizard or a fucking prog rocker. He's got white hair, a wizard's beard, and tash.
I mean, there's another Steve Ross who was ran Warner Brothers for a while, so And
then there was a Stephen Ross that wrote a very interesting book on Amazon. Do you remember it?
Yeah, it was an awesome book. Everybody should buy one. The reviews don't lie.
Right. Next one we've got. It's another interesting one. Roger Allers, age 76, American film director and screenwriter of films that. Well, let's have a look. The Lion King, Open Season, Aladdin. They're the main hitters. But he was in. Let's see. Roger Allers. So from 1980 onwards, he appeared. So it's Animal Olympics, Tron, Rock and Roll, Oliver and Company.
Rock and Roll, he must be Canadian.
The Little Mermaid, Little Nemo, Rescuers Down Under, The Prince of the Pauper, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, Emperor's New Groove, Lilo and Stitch, The Sweatbox, Return to Neverland, Lion King 1.5, Little Match Girl, Open Season, Surf's Up, Waking Sleeping Beauty, The Prophet, Howard, and The Lion King. Right, let's have a look. Born. No. It was New York he was born.
Spell his name.
Roger Allers, Allers. Not to be confused, it says here, not to be confused as Roger Allen or Roger Ailes.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's a New Yorker because Rock and Roll was an all Canadian production.
Well, he might have moved to Canada after he was born.
Yeah.
So it might have been an expat.
It says he was film director, writer, animator, storyboard artist, and playwright.
Wow. He's a legend.
He worked on. Oh, hang on a Has that got some TV stuff? No.
Oh, he was an animator in rock and roll. That makes sense.
It also got a bit here saying he worked as a young adult. He accepted a job with the Leisberger Studios, where he worked as an animator for projects such as Sesame Street, Make-A-Wish, and the Electric Company. Anyway, so that's that. And then the last one we've got is Valentino Clemente Ludovico Cardani, aged 93, Italian fashion designer and probably a fucking raving homosexual.
Fascist designer.
Well, hang on. He's probably a raving homosexual who probably loved young boys. Now, I can say that because he's dead.
Well, yes.
He's going to sue you.
Well, when you said he was a fascist designer, I mean, he's 92. He lived through World War II, right? So
93.
93, yeah.
Yeah, he's born in 32 in Voghera in Italy.
So he could have been like in what was the Italian equivalent of the Nazis?
Well, I'm telling you now, with these awards he was given, he could be anything. Look, listen to this: the King Grand Cross of the Order of Merit of the Italian Republic, the Knight of the Order of Merit for Labour, Knight of the Legion of Honour, the Commander of the Order of Arts and Letters, and the Medal of the City of Paris. They all sound fascist to me.
Holy shit, he's dripping with Illuminati.
Yeah. Apparently his mother named him after Rudolph Valentino.
So when you guys posted in the group, Valentino's, you just said Valentino's dead. I thought, did he die like a long time ago? And then
but Valentino put his name to the fashion designing brand that he created, so he's just known as Valentino.
Yeah, and I thought
that's what Marty said. Marty said the same thing. I thought he died long time ago.
Yeah, well, then I thought like, maybe how old was Jim Valentino, one of the guys who started Image Comics? And I was like, when I met him, I thought he was like, maybe 10 years older than me. But that's so. Anyway, yeah, we got that cleared up.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you go and spell it, it does say here, allegedly. Valentino and Giancarlo Giametti shared homes and apartments around the world, and then it has a list. It has a list, and when you touch each one, the premises, and you see where they were living. So there was a villa on the Via Appia Antica, a historical landmark in Rome. In
all these names you're butchering are awesome, John.
That's how you pronounce them. Here we are then. 19th century mansion in Holland Park. Now that must be at least fucking 40 million. Here we are. Here we are. The centerpiece of this mansion is the Grand Salon that houses 5 late Picassos and a small salon with 2 Basquiats and 1 painting by Damien Hirst. So not only is the house going to be like, I say, 40 odd million minimum, it's got fucking millions of pounds worth of art inside. He also had a penthouse on 5th Avenue near the Frick Museum overlooking Central Park. I bet that was fucking not fucking cheap. He had a chateau. Fucking hell, in Paris.
I had a chateau this morning.
Yeah.
It felt pretty good.
And then it has a bit underneath that goes, Valentino also spent half of his lifetime in Giancarlo Giametti's homes. Oh, yeah, that's right. Bending over, wasn't he? Yeah. Anyway.
I'm Valentino. I like to make women look beautiful.
Well, that's it. But
and
the
women
are always matchstick thin.
Chateau.
But the women are always matchstick thin and look like boys. That's all these famous fashion designers, because they're all homosexuals.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the deaths. But let's get on to the most important death. The car. Fucking hell. So,
how old was your car, John?
Oh, it's fucking donkey's years old. About 18 years or something, I don't know. But it was a fucking good. There was nothing wrong with it until this 1 second and it died.
Oh, where have I heard that before? Oh, my technology is like 20 years old, but it still works. I use the same stereo that I used in high school. It still works. And you guys are like, oh, well, you can't do it. And it's like, yeah, well.
No. There's a difference.
Like
There's a difference between your. there's a difference. There's a difference between a car that has to be fucking made sure it's okay so it doesn't fucking fall apart and kill you. And fucking, do you get your fucking computer checked every fucking year to make sure it's running okay, Mr. Ross? No, you don't.
Because it's always running okay.
Well, it isn't, is it? Anyway, let's get on with it. So we went. We're not going to go down another one of those routes I thought first. That bit in the middle of the first death where you used to went off for 20 odd minutes. Anyway, at least I managed to write my reviews when you waffled on.
Hey, at least someone didn't mention Antarctic Press. There would have been an hour. So go ahead.
That's right. So we went out on Saturday, got Sam, went up. So that's 30 miles that way.
Hold on. What happened with Antarctic Press, Rossy?
Back off.
Go on,
right,
John.
So we went up to get Sam, then went up the road to went to Ramsgate for the day out and fucking I'd look round nice. I met my my hairdresser, my barber, who cut my hair on my fucking wedding morning. So I hadn't seen him for fucking decades. Had a chat. Had a lovely meal in an Italian place where the staff and the main waitress were Italian and they were lovely. And food was delicious. She was very funny as well. So we were pronouncing the words. So when I was saying stuff, I was doing it all amazingly right, but she would copy what I said afterwards and obviously altered it to the Italianness. So I didn't do the proper ragu. She went ragu. So I went. So then I repeated straight after her what I had and went ragu. So because I can roll the R's. So, but
you just talk with your hands. They'll know. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, do you mean like that?
Yeah, you just offended every Italian listening. So
good. Fuck them. They're all fucking white flag traitors. Anyway, just like the French. Yeah. Anyway, right. So they went up there, had that, and we drove back, dropped Sam off, driving to our house. There was something happening through the main road of the town where a drain cover had come loose. So they had to, and it was near a junction, and it was one of the main junctions of the town. So they had to reset it, and it was all curing apparently till Monday morning. So the traffic was fucking horrendous. So we drove into the town, joined the line. I'm like, fucking hell, we're only about 300 meters away from home. Went into the penultimate street before we get to ours, and it sounded like something scraped on the floor. And then fucking engine just died. Smoke billowed out the back. Managed to fucking drive about 5 miles an hour. And I'm saying to Carolyn, our street's going to be chock-a-block because of that traffic up there. Turn left into our street, it was fucking gridlocked. Took us ages before the traffic coming down stopped long enough for the traffic to go up. So we're going uphill slightly, and the car died. Now, there was no fucking places to park it in our street. I had to park it in the off street on the left, but we had to push the car uphill about 100 meters.
Oh.
And it's not a fucking small car. And weirdly, the people who were waiting in front of us, like there's numerous cars and a bus, nobody came out to help. You know what I mean? They just watched a woman and a bloke push a car up a hill, right? So we got around the corner, and it was on, and I couldn't get it at a nice parallel angle. It was about 20 degrees off. Put the handbrake on, it's electronic handbrake thing. I'm like, well, that's good, isn't it?
How many miles did it have? How many miles is on your car?
135, 140,000.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So fucking I says to Carol, I guess all the stuff out from the day because I'd bought a piece of modern art. I'm just going to show you this on the thing. Let me just fucking get the camera on. Let's get that on. So I'm just thinking, fucking hell, I just spent all that, and now I've got this to fucking sort out. Here we go. Oh, I've not pulled the camera bit up. Here we go. There we are. Look at that, eh?
You have to tell me what it is. Actually, tell the listener.
No, Flint, you can look at it. You see what I'm doing?
I can't see your video at all.
You can't see it. It's fucking on.
Oh, well, now.
I'll send you the picture. later. Anyway,
Well,
it's a bust of a bust. And it's blue, and it's going to go into the bathroom because it's fucking lovely. Anyway, so I'll put that just there out of the way. So anyway, gets in the house, and I'm like fucking inside, man. I'm just thinking, fuck me, there's a load of money fucking going. So I gets on the fucking phone to ring up to get it scrapped because the engine's dead. That's it. There's no point spending money after that. Well, the amount of smoke that came out was fucking unbelievable. So I thought, right, I'll do that. I had to do an email because all the places are shut on the weekend, right? So I did emails to two. I left a message with one, email for another one, who then will collect it for free and pay you some money. You know what I mean? So, this to me was the worst bit of it. I just filled the tank with 90 quid's worth of diesel.
Oh no!
And I was like, I'm fucking, and I've got a petrol car now, so I couldn't even siphon it. So anyway, I'd done that. Then I said to the car, and I said, I'm going to fuck off to the place we bought it 2 years ago. And they've got a load of cars. And I was in there a few months ago, just saying that I thought the MOT was going to fail because the emissions shit. You know what I mean? It was okay, but now it's getting close as the years go by. You get closer and closer to the failure point on emissions, and you're like, for fuck's sake, there's nothing wrong with the thing until it died, obviously. So we were planning on getting a new car, well, a new second-hand car. You know what I mean? So I went to the place, I had a look around, took 3 pictures of the cars, took 3 pictures of the information that was on the bonnet, on the windscreen. Sorry, went on their site, had a look at it, all the 3 of them. Put 2
so
out.
did the guy come out and go? So the guy come out from the dealership and go, "Hello, John, got a new motor?"
No, because it was about 8 o'clock at night, so they're all in bed. and so where the fuck? Oh yeah, that's that bit. So I looked on YouTube then to watch fucking information about these and all that stuff, and I narrowed it down to the one. So I got a Ford Focus now, a little nippy thing, and it opens on a Sunday at 10 o'clock. But I thought I won't go straight away because it looks eager, so I went about 11ish. But I then sort of like contacted the companies again, but no fucking luck. But later on that afternoon, one of them rang me up and said, "Oh, we can collect tomorrow, blah blah blah." But that was the one that was going to pay less than the other place. So I thought, well, I'll tell you if I need you, mate, on Monday. Anyway, so come 11 o'clock, I went around to look at the car. There was a few people actually looking around at the cars. Had a good fucking look. Had a drive around in it. I thought this'll do us until this one fucking dies. And I said,
are the dealerships over there, are the sales guys as aggressive as they are over here in the US?
No. He's just like, I'll let you look around, mate. Didn't even come to me. Didn't even come to me at all until I said to him, can you, about this, about that, the other. And he was like, anyway. So when it was ready to buy it, I said, right, I said, you knock a couple of £100 off, can you? And he said, I said, look, mate, if you knock a couple of £100 off, I feel as though I've got a good deal. I said, I bought the last 2 cars from you anyway. And I've named the car. And he went, so he could have looked it up if you want to. And he goes, go on then, I'll knock it off for you. I said, well, I'm buying it now, so it'll be done. And then this was the fiasco of the day. So they prefer a bank transfer because it's the amount of money. Even though the credit card would have paid the money, and then I could have just transferred the money from the account. Right. So I'm like, okay, mate, so you want that? Okay. So I opens the phone app up. I'm doing all the stuff. First thing goes, I'm not verified to do that amount. I have to then go into the phone again, into the app, to change the amount I can verify. So I ups it up to more than I can do. So it's not really close to it, you know what I mean? Then it starts to go through the system, and I'm like, have you been coerced? Have you been this, fucking that? Take a picture of your driving license, then do a selfie afterwards. I'm like, okay.
Sounds all this. Totally safe.
No, this is the bank.
Yeah, sounds totally secure.
This is why the bank does this. Are you mad, Rossy? the bank makes it so difficult for you to send money in this amount because they're worried that people are going to get scammed.
Yeah.
That's why you have to follow about 20 procedures to send thousands upon thousands of money to somebody.
Listen, Rossy's system is way better. He just keeps it in bags underneath his bed.
That's right. So
cash is king, baby.
So yeah, I know cash is king. I bought the last 2 cars with cash. But the problem now is you can't withdraw that amount of money out of the bank unless you withdraw one day, the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day, because you've had so many accounts of people saying, I want £7,000, and they've went, we're not giving you that.
Yeah,
and they're like,
how
what
do
do you mean?
think I got the bags of cash?
Yeah, but when your house burns down, what are you going to do then? Well, I'll tell you what, when you're
I'll be dead, so I don't care.
When me and Flint go through your piss-stained mattress, we're going to be drying it all out first before we burn the house.
Well,
so anyway,
you're gonna have to race over here because my dad's gonna have a mobile mini drive up and just throw it in the back and cackle all the way before you guys make it over here.
So anyway, I go through this fucking whole rigmarole on the phone and it doesn't fucking work. I do it another time, then I think, right, I'm gonna turn the phone off and start again, and then it goes through it. But this took, I'm not kidding you, like 20 odd minutes. But and we were laughing me and him were laughing, and I'm just like, fuck me. Because Carolyn has this fiasco when she's done things for like a lot smaller amounts, but it is only done like this to stop fucking people of your age, Mr. Ross, being conned because you're senile. That's his thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're like, exactly. So anyway, so I got it. I filled the fucking thing up with fuel, and I did my stuff. Taxed it. MOT, tax is done, MOT is valid, and the car insurance. I then altered my car insurance to cancel the other one, and then cancel the other one the next day because this is still on the insurance of the car dealership for 24 hours. So then I could have it overlap. So that was done. I was happy. I got everything out of our car, put it in there. It's a smaller boot, so I've got to sort of move things around and stuff. And then, because I'm parked on double yellow lines, and our street and the next street is notorious for the fucking people coming up and ticketing you. When I looked on the thingy for the car people who were going to come and collect it, 8 o'clock they opened on Monday morning. So I got to finish work early. I said to work, I need to finish early, blah, blah, blah. And told them all the stuff. They went, no problem. We'll give you one job, a long job that will get you to that time and you finish. So Carolyn was going to work at 7:30. I walked up with it and then I sat in the car till they collected it, right? Now, so I'm sat in there. Once it got to 8 o'clock, I give it 5 minutes. I rang the number on the firm. No answer. I rang this other number that I had for them. It said they didn't open till 9, but it said on the website 8. So then I rang up the other fucking firm and said, right, blah, blah, blah. You rang us up yesterday. What time can you get here? So I'm accepting less money for the car now. And he went between 10 and 11. And I said, right, okay, you got the job. This is the address, blah, 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 blah. Come and get me. Fucking hell. It was just before 11 o'clock he turned up. So I'd sat in the car. I went in the house twice. I walked down the street to have a piss twice because it was so fucking cold. Because you sat in a box and, they couldn't get the engine to go or anything. Yeah. That was another thing. Because it was an electric handbrake, which you press a button and it goes, you hear it go like that. I couldn't get the fucking brake off because I was thinking to myself, I could have rolled it back on the Sunday into a place on our street where I was okay, but the fucking thing wouldn't come off. Anyway, so when the bloke turns up with the wrecking machine, the low loader, we press the button and the fucking brake comes off.
Oh.
And I'm thinking, fuck me, if that had worked yesterday, I wouldn't have had to sit in this fucking thing for this amount of time. But so the car got taken.
Loosened it.
No, it was just one of those things, you know what I mean? Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, he fucking tore it up on the back and fucking off it went. I got my money and that was it. So that was just like a weekend after the niceness of being with Sam and having a good old time. It was just fucking shit you don't need, you know what I mean? And that's what it just fucking winds you right up. I mean, I'm expecting the third thing to happen soon because another thing happened before that.
Everything always goes in threes.
Yeah, because
is that your things that piss me off?
You're gonna love
this.
You're gonna love this one. You're gonna love this one. So I'm down. I'm that's it. I'm in the house, and I'm fanning about on the phone, and I'm going. Oh, I'm just gonna dull the screen. You know the brightness. You've got brightness and the volume.
Yeah.
Moving to the left, and it dulls the screen.
Yeah.
I dulled it too far, and the screen went black. Right. Now I couldn't see where the fuck the thing was to make it come back across, and I'm looking. I'm like, how the fuck am I going? I thought, right, let's see if I can turn the phone off and bring it back on. That was my fatal mistake. I did turn the phone off because you just do the two buttons on the side, and
yeah.
Anyway, so I had to go on YouTube, and I'm looking out to get the fucking thing back on, but it wasn't getting the instruction correct. I'm trying to explain the phone. I've dimmed it to the extent that you can't see it. So I had to go down the town and go into one of the, and so it said, if you can't do it this way, you need to get the phone opened and the battery taken out so it resets. Everything's still on it, but it resets. So I goes down the town, goes and sees out one of the places that I go in to get like the covers and shit like that. I said, right, mate, this has happened. And he starts to do the thing that I did. I said, no, that's not it, mate. I said, what's happened is I've actually turned the phone off. So when I press the buttons to turn the phone on, then I have to do the code. The screen isn't coming on to do the code because it's dark. It needs the battery. So eventually he realizes what I'm saying. So he takes it and he says, it'll be about 45 minutes, mate. So I comes back and that was 35 quid wasted for just fucking darkening the screen. So I was annoyed, but I just thought, you know what, 35 quid in the grand scheme of things, I'm okay with that. But then the car dies, and I look at the old the credit card thing this month where I've had to move things around, and I'm like, oh fucking hell, I better fucking better do this, better do that. And I'm like, fuck's sakes, how much money's going to have this month? But I'm still looking chipper, so I'm all right with that. So they're my two bad things. But my lovely thing, that arrived. Oh, hang on, this will be the third bad thing, which is part of the good thing. So I was making tea. So I'm okay. No bad things coming. So I was making tea, and if you were at the front door of our house, you can see who's at the front door from the kitchen. You can see it from the bottom of the garden because of the conservatory. So you can see who's in, right? Yeah. So I've got the light on in the kitchen, the 4 lights above the cooker area. I'm fucking making tea, prepping it all, and I see somebody coming up the path, and they've got a parcel in their hands, and they start to bend down, put the parcel on the floor in front of the door, and they're just going back to take a picture. And then by then I'm actually at the second door, the space lock we've got. Opens that and he hears the noise, right? And I opens the door. I said, all right, mate. I said, right. So I gets it. It's in my hands. That's when he takes the picture. I said, look, mate, he didn't even knock on the door. I said, there's a fucking brass knocker there that's mega loud. I said, I was in that kitchen with a light on me, watching you as I walked all the way up to this door. You didn't even look once to see who. You didn't even look once into the doorway, which is all glass, and the other door's glass. You didn't even see me. I said, if you're going to do a delivery, mate, at least do a cursory look to see if you see a human being in the bloody building. I said, you put that on the front of the door, not even behind the bins. I said, this is something that will be nicked by somebody and they'll just throw it in the bin because it's full of photos. I said, fucking sort your fucking self out. I said, when your company asked me how good the delivery was, you're getting a fucking shit reply, mate. I thought, fuck me.
Did you answer the door naked and he took a picture of you?
I was in jogging bottoms or gym jam bottoms, but I was naked from the chest, so they can always look at my masculine chest and my nipple. And what it was the John and Carolyn USA 2025 California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas photo book, which took me that long to sort out. 300 pictures at least are in here.
Wow.
It was so fucking long to do because the one with Sam, was about 100 odd pictures. But some of these, when you're putting them in, I'll tell you what one, there was a really difficult one. It was the one where we were with you and Marnie Flint in front of the Phoenix sign.
Oh, yeah.
So I put it into the thing and I did a full page of it because it was so nice. But it pixelated. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I was going into the Q&A bits and it said, oh, sometimes that happens.
But it's uploading.
That's right. Even every time you look, it look wrong. But when it goes on our side, we've got it bang on. But it's so off-putting, you know what I mean? Because it happened on about 4 or 5 pictures. So I went through it, freaking big pictures here, little pictures there. There's only one page that I'm like, I should have done that over. Well, 2 pages where I should have done it over a few more. Where did the white sands? I should have made them a bit bigger. But I'm fucking well happy with it. Fucking,
it looked great. You showed some photos.
Do you know what I mean? And I've done the backgrounds accordingly, like the ones in Albuquerque where we need that beautiful church. I did the backgrounds on that with yellow around the page sort of colour. But yeah, I'm fucking so impressed. Now, the other weird thing was, so you're adding the things in, and it's like, I think you get like 24 pages initially, and you just keep adding and adding pages, and every page you put in is more money, obviously. You can have it glossy, you can have it this, you can have it sort of lace flat, which I don't like the look of those lace flat ones. Gets to the end, and I've got a half price thing. It says like, whatever it comes up will be half price. So the full price would have been like 150 odd quid. But with the half price and the postage, it was like 75, 78 quid or something like that. But when I went to the next page, it was like full price again. I'm like, the fuck? So I kept doing that, and I deleted the photo book in the box, but it was all still there, you know what I mean? Did it through the system again. No. So I emailed the thing saying, I was in the little computer chat. I said, I'm trying to buy this. This is the code number. This is the reference. Blah blah blah. It's telling me it's going to be this price, but when I go to the next page, every time I've done it, half a dozen times, it's gone to this price. And then I had an email back that night saying, just put this code in, and you'll get a half price. So I did it straight away, and then I was just waiting for it to turn up. And it's right now on above the Judge Dredd Mega collection thing. It's above the Sam's one. So I'm very happy with it. And you're in there as well, Mr. Ross, at the end. You're there at work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Have we got any pictures?
Yeah, I saw the sample pages you posted. Look great.
Yeah, and then at the very end.
Nice looking book. In my expert opinion, it is a nice looking book.
Yeah, that's why it took so fucking long, that is. And then the penultimate pages I've got. By the way, Statler, Waldorf, and Fernando joined us on our holiday, and there's pictures of the lads and Carolyn's flamingo on all the fucking sites. That's it. And then on the final page, I've got the date of the holiday, areas we stayed, and who we stayed with, whether it be with yourselves or at a hotel or motel. So
can I ask how much that ended up costing with all the?
It was about 75, 78 quid, so about $90 to $100.
Yeah, but that's an awesome thing to have.
Oh yeah, it's well put together. It's a nice design. It's, to me, it's the way to go rather than do photo albums. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the best souvenir of all. You know, so
yeah, and that's the thing, because I always laugh with Carolyn and say, I love the photos, because she's like, oh fucking hell. And I'm like setting up the tripod and all this shit and all that. I've said, look, when we're fucking senile and we can't remember what we fucking done, at least we can get them books down and go, oh, look at those two people. But yeah, so that has been my exciting week since the last time we fiascoed on the old chat. So I'm happy, but I'm annoyed with the money being wasted, but got a nice little fucking car. The only thing that's annoyed me with the car is it's not got cruise control. But what more can you?
Does it have a CD player?
That's one of the things. I will not have a fucking thing without a CD player. So it's got a CD player, and I'm very happy with it. I mean, I did see when I was looking at the car online, a lot of people have got one of those fucking iPad screen type things now, with the digital shit and all that. Well, I'm not bothered about that. I want to be able to put a CD in. I mean, people go, fucking hell, John, you might as well get an 8-track. Now, people will be going now, what the fuck is you on about an 8-track?
That's what Rossy has in his Model
Yeah!
Ford.
There you go.
That's how he plays the music in his house. He's got an 8-track rigged up somehow.
Would you like to know why I don't have any 8-tracks?
Because there's no Gary Newman on an 8-track.
I would not be surprised if there was. But the reason I don't have any 8-tracks is because when I went to England, we went to a little comic shop near where my friend Ken lived, and the person there collected them, and they said that if I sent them 8-tracks, they would take 2000. They would trade them for 2000 ADs, and so Ken did I sent it over to the shop, and Ken went and picked a bunch of them for me and sent them over. So I traded them for the 2000 ADs. So yeah, everything comes back too.
Well,
even my 8-tracks.
I suppose we better mention the biggest news of the day, which I went onto Twitter earlier, X, and there's nothing mentioned about it.
Oh,
do you know what the biggest news of the day is?
The solar flares that are bathing the earth as we speak.
No, it's that tonight, the 20th of January, in the Odeon on Tottenham Court, Tottenham Court, at 1900 hours, the Prog Trooper is having a free screening.
Oh, I did see those. Yeah,
and weirdly, no under 55s were allowed to go.
So that's the end of the 2000 AD audience.
That's it.
Yeah.
So there's nobody who's read it from the beginning was allowed to go and watch it. What does that tell you?
They're going for the kids.
The confidence level is fucking mega low. If you think that when people came out of that, if they're all in the fucking original readers and they all started going, that was shit, my belief is that's why they've said no under 55s.
No, they figure that everybody who's 55 will go see it anyway. And actually, if they see it for free, they're probably, and it's not that great. If it's like Red Sonja bad, they're not going to want to pay to see it again. It's like, maybe Ashley will be like, "Oh, pay to see it again to support."
Of course, Ashley would be like, fucking sucking the great cock of fucking his Lord and Master, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think they're concerned, like, we've already got that crowd. We want to make sure that people under that age are going to go pay to see that because it's a much bigger group. And I'm telling you. So go ask we'll have to find the 3 guys who bothered to go see it and ask them what they thought of it.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
And they're probably not even in the groups. That's even the funnier part.
I think it's exactly what John said.
What?
Because if you're 2000, how many times did you see the Judge Dredd movie when it was in the theater?
Me, at least 3 or 4.
There you go. So even if you're a hardcore 2000 AD fan and you saw Rogue Trooper, you go see it a couple of times.
Oh yeah, I guess. But
I think it's what John said. It's a stop bad press. But the thing is, the optics look really bad.
Yeah. No. Yeah, but to be fair,
I've never known anything. Have you known right? You've been to a load of screenings, haven't you, Rossy?
Yeah. Well, let me before you say.
I've got to say, do they state no under fucking certain ages allowed? Have you ever heard that before? Have they?
Yes. Yes.
On what?
Okay, here's a perfect example. The reason why I got to see the Spawn movie at a screening was because they had the demographic they wanted in there was younger than I was at the time, but my girlfriend was in that demographic, and so she was the one who got the ticket, and I got in as the +1.
No. What are you saying? That they have an age restriction?
Yeah. It's like
so you're saying so when you went to see Spawn, Was it a pre-screening?
Yeah, Todd McFarlane was there and everything. It was.
Was it excellent? Did it make a load of money?
No, it was terrible. But
Exactly.
No. And
also,
you're telling me for the pre-screening they said you have to be a certain age?
Yeah. It was. I was too
That's
old.
unheard of.
No, I was too old because if they're targeting a certain demographic, they don't want like a bunch of grandmas and grandpas saying, "Oh, that terrible Spawn movie." They want the kids who are going to go see it.
That's before the release of the movie, though, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a pre-screen. This was like months before. Also, half the special effects for the end weren't done yet. And also, I think it actually did make money, but it was just a terrible movie. And the same thing with the Dread movie. The opposite, actually, with the Dread movie was that the reason I went to see it was actually a really good movie, and I knew that I wouldn't get to see it in 3D if I didn't catch it in the 2 weeks that it played in theaters. And with Rogue Trooper, it's like I still haven't seen anything to get me excited, so I guess there's still time, maybe, but
I won't be going to the pictures to fucking see it. That's for definite. I'll just watch it illegally on the internet. Fuck them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay. I'm not. You know, if you're going to watch a big spectacle like fucking, say, like the Disney original Disney's, like the Lion Kings and all them sort of stuff. Well, they're not the originals, but you know, the modern take on the cartoons, they were spectacular visually to look at. But I just feel that with the complete lack of anything shown or talked about in the last 2 odd years, this is going to be an unmitigated disaster. Now, people will be saying, "Oh, John." I'll think, hang on a second. Compare this to what we had with the Dread. The Dread was terribly fucking promoted, but from what I saw, I could extrapolate all the information I needed from the Dread. And so I put a big article up about why the uniform works, and I fucking shot people down about the helmet stuff because the people were going about, well, you're not going to be able to see. And I would say, well, hang on a second. I'm not saying I'm special forces, but I've trained with the respirator. I've fast roped onto fucking oil rigs and ships wearing a respirator. I've went through fucking rooms wearing a respirator, which is shittier vision. It's tunnel vision compared to what Dread wears. This stuff, if you're trained for 15 years like a judge is to wear that helmet, you fucking got the eyesight that you need and all that sort of shit. I went on about all the snag points on the uniform because it was all, the buckles were close calls to the body, all that sort of stuff. I went through everything. Now, the film didn't do well because obviously the promotion was fucking abysmal. I even went up to London, me and Dave Court, we did our fucking shtick outside and the uniforms on. We did all that voluntarily, did loads of stuff, did stuff with John Wagner at the actual restaurant, the Peachtree restaurant in Tube Street.
It wasn't just that, John. It came across as an art movie.
Yeah. So I compare that with that little amount of push to this, which has no push whatsoever, no fucking there's no fucking window, what you call it, social footprint, because I said I went on Twitter, there's nothing about it. There's nothing on X about the Rogue Trooper movie. In fact, let me just go on to X now, because I think there's a Rogue Trooper movie site. Right,
you'll have to go to Blue Sky to see David Bowie's son's posts.
Yeah, but the thing is, exactly. So you got a Blue Sky, which is full of racists and fascists, because it's horrendous there. They're all fucking Nazis. But that has no fucking push. It doesn't matter if you hate Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. It's still the global fucking news thing. Every time something breaks somewhere and it gets pushed, they always mention the site. That I've never seen on the news in the UK yet. This is on Blue Sky, because it's never going to happen.
Did they ever say like around what month or what season of the year that it's coming out in this year?
I haven't got a clue.
Fall, winter.
Knowing how bad Rebellion are, they'll probably release it the same weekend as Doomsday.
Oh, that'd be funny.
If it gets a theatrical, I imagine it's going to get whatever one of those ghetto months like August or probably August. And you know what my dream is? You know what
August,
I hope for?
This far apart?
I would love for Rebellion to make it available, like you could see it at the after hours at San Diego Comic-Con, and that Simon Belmont gets to go see it. That would be nice for him.
But the thing is, it's to me, I want, you know, people probably think, oh, they're negative. I want it to succeed, but every fucking thing that they've done or not done tells me it's not going to succeed.
Everything is indicating it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's been no push. There's been no fucking nothing.
What do you mean? Rogue Troopers appeared in the Prog for the last couple of years, every issue.
So all of us people who are over 55 who've been reading it for the last couple of years, we're the ones who can't check it out. But the people who probably have no idea.
I wonder why they cut it at 55, why they didn't cut it at 45.
I know. But
because they're going for you're right. But that's it. Because they want to make sure because it's like I keep saying, right now the whole comic industry is run by the millennials, and that's technically 40 is millennial now. So 55 is still a weird thing, isn't it?
But the thing is, right? Yeah. The thing is, they haven't even really confirmed where you're going to see it. I've not seen anything yet. I might be wrong, but I've not seen anything saying it's going to be the pictures or it's going to be fucking streamed.
Exactly. And they're probably still trying to figure that out themselves.
Now, I cannot believe they'll get a deal to fucking distribute it at the pictures, because that takes a lot of money. And from what we've seen over the last few years, with certain things have been said, it's very difficult to get into the streaming market unless you've got like name recognition. You know what I mean? So
they'll do it. They'll do a Red Sonja on it. They'll rent out like a small amount of theaters for one day or maybe a week at the most, and then they can say we've got a theatrical run, and then hope that gets them some extra value on streaming channel it's a.
So if this fails,
fails,
will that be the death knell, do you think?
Well, I mean, I think they, I think did the same thing was Black Creek. I think the Cynthia Rothrock movie had like a theater ran it for a day, and so they can say it had a theatrical run, and it's on. Hey, Red Sonja and Black Creek are on Prime, so hey, sold it. What were we going to say, John? Sorry.
I can't remember now, but I mean, the worst thing that can happen is somebody like fucking Shilly Ashley seeing it and then saying it's just brilliant, because you know he'll just say it's brilliant no matter what. Now, I fucking loved the Dredd film, but it wasn't perfect. You know what I mean? And I said it wasn't perfect. I said this, that, and the other. But you have to be truthful. Is the Dredd film an enjoyable movie? Yes. Have I watched it since? No, I fucking haven't. Because there's nothing to it. It's just an action sequence going through the block. It's like a computer game, isn't it? You've done it. That's it. There's nothing to go, oh, if I watch that bit again, I might hear why they did this bit, which we'll get to in the films later on. There's nothing to entice me back. The action sequences that were the best ones were when the slow-mo kicked in. Visually, they were beautiful, stunning. Yeah. But I've seen them as in clips on YouTube all the time. In fact, I don't even remember the last time I watched a clip of Dredd on YouTube. Must be at least 5 years ago. But there's nothing to bring me back to do multiple watchings. And when I hear certain people going, oh, I watch it like fucking 10 times a year, I'm like, you do know there's other films out there to watch. You're wasting fucking 20 hours of your life each year watching the same fucking film when, let's be truthful, it's not the greatest action film ever. You know, the music's excellent. It kicks in really nice, that really bass sound when it's like going across the cursed earth and all that. Yeah. So that everything works well, but it's not the greatest action film. You know what I mean? And there's things in that don't get any sort of like payback and all that. The bit at the end where he goes, wait, and you're like, well, why would he do that? It's just been a big shootout. You know what I mean? I can even explain to it to the point where he doesn't grab the rounds when he kills the judge and he runs off. It's because they're right on top of him. So he hasn't got time to fucking get down and get the kit. So I can give it some leeways.
He didn't take any from any of the bad guys he was killing on the steps or anything.
He should have took their weapons because the rounds wouldn't have fitted the Logger there. So he should have took their
because they make different bullet sizes for different guns.
Yes, they do.
You're telling me all that ammunition, every single bit of ammunition, there wasn't any bit of kit that would have fit that lawgiver.
That's right. There wouldn't have been because they're all specialist rounds in the lawgiver.
So the Justice Department have their own little company that produced bullets for them.
Yeah, they did. They did because they all got blown up, didn't they? They all got their hands blown up by that fucking, what was his name?
That was one thing, and then the criminal should have known that lawgiver would self-destruct.
He should have known. So there was things like that, but we can give it a bit of leeway and all that. But the problem with so we were constructively criticizing it, right? If you just say it's just brilliant, well, that's not a fucking review because you're fucking and that's the sort of thing that you see certain members of the groups are like, and you're like, what are you seeing? Now with this, I hope it's good, but because they've done nothing to show us some decent stills, even a 10-second clip of Rogue firing a weapon or something, you know what I mean, or even like a little. There must be a part in the film where there's a bit of interaction in 30 to 60 seconds of Rogue and all of his fucking lads, you know, something like that, or even a bit where you get like the.
They should actually have a 20 to 30-second trailer.
Yeah, but they've got nothing.
Unless it's so god awful that they don't want to share that, or they're afraid, like with the Dredd movie, that everybody dogpiled on that leaked photo of the guy on the Lawmaster and said he looked like he was riding a lawnmower. Or
well, what did we say at the time about that? What did we say about the time when they did that? We said, right, within fucking a day or 2 days, they should have had fucking some awesome stills, or even press junket fucking pictures of the kit, fucking Dredd, but they didn't. And you're like,
no.
Even then, with that, you're like, you've seen what's happened, counteracted by showing a good picture. Just get some stuff out, and they didn't do that, and that was a lot more money spent on that. So, like, we keep going back to this. Nothing's been seen, nothing's been shown. You know, it's just like, all these comedians are in it. And you're like, well, I like that comedian. They're good. They're comedians. Are we going to be watching a fucking war comedy?
Right. How funny are they going to try to make this thing? And also, so I mean, I'm willing to flip on a dime if I see something cool, but I haven't. Even Red Sonja up until I actually saw the movie itself. Even though every step of the way I'm like, it feels like it's going to be this, it feels like it's going to be that. I watched the whole movie so I could have a valid opinion because I like Red Sonja and, you know, the Red Sonja thing, you know, and the movie was what it was. And there's good things about it, bad things about it. I've said both. And I moved on. I'm not going to keep, as much as I like the Red Sonja thing, I'm not going to keep watching that movie. There's better ripoffs like Xena Warrior Princess than the actual thing. And the same thing with the Dredd movie. I would rather watch RoboCop again because that's the better Dredd movie than either of the two Dredd movies. And the Carl Urban one is fine. I saw it 3 or 4 times, but knowing that that's probably, you know, I don't even it's not a movie I watch every year like Flash Gordon or whatever. So, you know, and it's fine, but it's everything you said. And also the screenplay leaked before the movie came out, and I read that, and it had the exact same problem when you read it. Just he goes from room to room, and there's a little bit of a shootout, and the Mama character is very weak and easily defeated, and it's like, so what? And there's some cool. It's not as goofy as the Stallone movie, and he keeps his helmet on, but that's the trade-off. There are also trade-offs there too.
It was a game.
Yeah, right.
I didn't even read that.
Yeah.
I didn't even, when that screenplay was leaked, I didn't even bother reading it. I didn't even search for it because I just thought, well, why would I do an Ashley and spoil it for myself?
I want to see a screen. I like reading screenplays. You know,
yeah.
But
I don't mind reading afterwards because we got it basically in that Dredd book that Jock did, didn't we?
Yeah. So, but I don't know which version of it was because because I remember the Mama character was even worse in the.
Oh yeah. As in bad, as in horrible.
Yeah. Well, no, like
She looked like
badly
Jabba
done.
the Hutt.
Yeah, it was just kind of like like this is not going to be. You kind of want to see Dredd go toe to toe, and it's like this isn't a physical threat for Dredd, and it's not like some kind of deep psychological. You don't want to see Dredd go against a deep psychological threat, but it's not even that either. It's just ineffectual game boss at the end. So, but yeah, so I mean, there were problems that go all the way back to the script, like you said, John, with the 2012. But like with this one, there's not even like a leaked script, and yeah, like I said, as negative as we've been, I can flip on a dime if something. I would love to eat my words, and I haven't even said like, oh, it's going to be blah blah blah. It's just like, I think we've been mostly careful to say, it looks like, it feels like, and based on our history of being movie fans, whatever they do, what they're doing, like what they're doing with the Rogue Trooper movie. Traditionally, the movie itself has been not the greatest and this is how they usually try to do damage control, by keeping it under wraps as long as they can. So, but I am rooting for, well, unless Alex DeCampi gets a screen credit, I'm rooting for him.
It'll be Alex DeCampi's Rogue Trooper.
Oh God. If they do that thing, at the end of the Marvel movies, when they put like at the very tail end, they put special thanks to Roy Thomas and all the other guys who have written the character at some point in the comics. Oh my God, if they do that for Alex DeCampi, it'd be like,
and her name's first.
Boo! Gordon Rennie. Boo! I'll be the one guy. I'll be the one guy in the theater.
They'll be getting screen grabs of that fucking bit where it scrolls up with their names on and putting it on their pages. That's what normally the creators have done. I've seen it many times over the years.
Then ask them. Then when they do that, ask them to show them their paycheck they got for having their credit on the movie.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean you don't get paid for it? Yeah, exposure.
I feel thanked.
But like I say, so it's on tonight. I'm going to be looking when I'm at work for anything that's on Twitter. Who knows? We might even have a fan, like you say. Nobody's mentioned they're going to tonight, but in one of the groups, somebody might go and see it and then post up that they've watched it, and it might be fucking awesome.
Yeah, that would
no. You know what will happen?
55 in those groups.
You know what will happen? People will go see it, and then they won't be able to post anything about it because they all signed NDAs.
Yeah, that's true too. So, are they only having those screenings?
Jason will be there on his fucking charger with a fucking sword in hand at the entrance to the cinema. Any fucker says anything bad, he will get decapitated.
He'll sue them with his sword.
He'll get you. I'm not a man for suing people, but I'll sue every fucking one of yous.
See if you can apply this game technology to a Hawk the Slayer's sequel.
All right, Kickstarter corner. What you got for Kickstarter corner, Rossy?
You know what? Before we were recording, I was reading the Uncle Pat's Hell something book that he did with the 77.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's Hellbreaker, is it?
I don't know. So, have you read it yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, so here's the thing. I haven't finished it yet, but there was a good breaking point because it ties into Space Warp. The first part of it is the story that ran in Space Warp, all colored up to match the rest of the strip, and things are a little more polished in that rest of it part of it. It made me realize that it's been a long time since I've read Uncle Pat's stuff. The other one that he did with 77, I feel terrible now because I realized like I've kind of punted that down the road and haven't actually read that. So this one, it's been a while since I've read Uncle Pat's writing, and the last Blaine story that he did for 2000 AD was just kind of like a greatest hit, so you could see that artist showcase like all the cool stuff that's been in Slain before, and then they sort of cut it off when he cut off Rebellion. But this is Uncle Pat's writing is freaking nuts. And
Yep.
I mean that it's so jarring compared to everything that I've read since he had quit 2000 AD. Because everybody's
Oh,
kind
you
of
got to
trying
read
to,
his Requiem stuff.
yeah, love it or hate it. I can understand why people don't like it. It is the most unutterable dialogue. Like you would never want to see or hear that dialogue uttered in a feature film, but it's a treat when you read it in a comic book, and it is clever, and it's full of puns, and he just does it. The world building and the character stuff just doesn't stop. People are explaining shit on the fly through dialogue and whatever, like in in a very unnatural way, but in a comic book it works. And so, and like I said, I can understand why people don't like it. I can understand, especially when people don't like it when he starts like doing all the Uncle Patisms, where it's like, oh, this is the part where he's mocking the church, and this is the part where he's
Where there's 7 heroes.
yeah, or well, when you start, he's got his little political things that he has to, political bugaboos that he has to get in all the time, and praising paganism and whatever. You know what? If that's what drives him as an artist, he can have it. That's the price you paid for letting him loose. But the art is really good, and I really like the coloring. I really like the look of it. Space War, but by today's state, I know everybody kind of went like, because he had talked it up so much. But if you look at some of the Space Warp stuff now compared to what's come out since then, it's actually worth a second look and better than we might have thought it was. So anyway, if you love Uncle Pat, you will absolutely love this. And just forget about the wannabe screenplay style of writing, the trying to be as natural and realistic as possible at the expense of action, fantasy, world. Just this is a guy who knows what he's doing, going to town and having a blast. And so I am really looking forward to reading the rest of it. Even though, it's like Uncle Pat doing hell and demon stuff again, like in that vampire thing. What But you know what? Whatever. Because if that's what he does, if that's what he digs doing, um I'm gonna go along with the ride for the ride, because he's one of a kind, and it's there's no, like I say, love him or hate him, there's nobody else like him. And that kind of singular artist, especially for comics where it needs to be fun and crazy, I endorse that. I support it. So there you go. And then Ben Dunn got his I think I don't know. I keep forgetting where Ben is. I think he's shipping Kendra #2. And I think so eventually I'll get mine, but I know I read the digital copy like months ago. So where Ben is on the timeline of like the real world versus what I might have proofread months ago, I don't remember. So and that's so I've talked about this Luchadors versus Everything book that's coming out, and the more I see, the more I'm questioning whether I'm going to support it, because I just want to read about the movies, and it looks like they're bringing in all their hipster artist friends, and it's going to be some of that, and that might be a selling point for some people. But I think I've got enough books about luchador movies. Maybe but between you, me, and everybody listening, I spent a lot of money on books this past week. So maybe I better.
What did you buy this past week?
So there's I've been talking about this project I wanted to do, and it's evolved from a short story for a compilation of new pulp stories. One of the writers who was in one of those compilations did end of the year review saying like, hey, look at all the stuff I've done. And then he posted the numbers of books sold. And by indie writer standards, those are actually kind of respectable numbers. One of them was the first pulp anthology for this publisher, and they sold 250 copies of a paperback book, which actually isn't too bad. If you look on Kickstarter, it's 200, 300 copies can yield a profitable book, and especially for niche subjects and stuff like that, that's not too bad. But I'm like, I don't know if that's, I might as well just stick with comics if that's the kind of numbers we're talking about. So I want to try something else, and I had this idea of how to do it, and so I bought some books that are going to serve as reference, and or like if I had to show you what I'm talking about, this is an example of that. And they weren't like prohibitively expensive. They weren't like $30-$40 books, but there was a lot. And the other thing I got is there's this guy named Richard Shaver. I think I talked about him before. He was a schizophrenic who had a very colorful life. And then one day, and he got a job that involved working with a blowtorch. And he started to hear voices from the blowtorch telling him about the ancient past, and that there are demon-like creatures called Deros that live underground and use ancient machinery to torment humans and affect their minds. And
that man was your father.
And he had this thing for giant, sexy women who also live in this underground thing and on Venus. And so he wrote an essay called Warning to Future Man and sent it to the editor of, I think it was Amazing Stories, who was this, he had some kind of spinal injury that made it, he was like a dwarf. And they sent it to him, and like his assistant read the letter and said, this guy's a crank, and threw it away. And he said, the dwarf guy, actually his name was Ray Palmer, and the original Adam was named after him. So Ray Palmer said, no, let me see it. And so he says, I can make a story out of this. So he added all the chases and pulp fiction adventure aspects, but the world building and the premise was based on this essay. And it sold something like quadruple, like dream numbers when they published the story in Amazing Stories. It was called I Remember Lemuria. And then they started getting flooded with letters from people who were like, I think I've been tormented by the Deros, and I think I've been to the caves in Mount Shasta, and weird stuff happened there. And so they ran more stories, and their circulation, every time they made this huge leap, every time they ran one of this guy's stories. The stories are public domain now, and he's virtually forgotten except for the meta story of this quasi hoax that went on for a while, and then eventually it ran out of steam. But like real science fiction fans, like Harlan Ellison, when he was like a kid at the time, hated this because it was clearly science. They were trying to make science fiction like a legitimate form of literature, and this was just like Alex Jones territory for the time, So it brought the whole. It did not make the whole genre look good. So you can get there's two different omnibus series you can get, and I made the mistake of getting the one that wasn't the complete work. It was just kind of like short stories and a few of the essays, but they looked like the deal was that they looked like ace doubles from the 60s. So they had like a really cool format, and I got them at a good price off of eBay. And then when I actually got the books, I was like, this doesn't have like half the stories that I wanted or needed. So there's another one called the Shaver Mystery Compendium. And if you get just the first 5 of those, you don't need I think it goes up to like 6 or 7. If you get the first 5, you get the good stuff. And they're not very expensive, but when you buy 5 of these things, it adds up. So and you can get them pretty easily. You can get digital copies online, and so if you just want to read them, but I wanted to have physical copies of the book because my eyes can't take reading that much text on the iPad. So and then I got some other books to show form factor and other things. So John, I was gonna ask you about this, and I'll throw it out there to people like Pete and other parents of autistic children. Is there a font? Do you know if there's a font? Because they found this font that apparently dyslexic people can read easier than regular Times font or the usual fonts that are used in print. It looks kind of like handwritten, not cursive, but it looks almost like, and it doesn't look like Comic Sans, but it looks like almost like a handwritten font, and apparently it's called dyslexic friendly. Have you heard of such a thing?
No, because every autistic child is different. So Sam can read a newspaper. Well, what information he gets the information he wants. So he can read a menu. So you've got like the bold, italics, all that sort of stuff. He can read all that. So every single one is different. So there might be a large group of autistic people who can see a specific thing, but I've not heard of it.
I'm not. I know that I'm conflating two neurodiverse things into one, but sometimes there's a crossover, right?
Well, everything's got a crossover, isn't it? I mean, to the outside world, you're normal, but we know you and you're not.
Exactly. I'm highly functional. See? Right. So so this there's a series of books that we got at the store. It was weird because like within the same week we had 2 different customers asking for dyslexic friendly font. And so I had noticed them because they're very thin. They're barely like 100 pages, and then the types, the letters are a little bigger than the usual font, and then there's more spacing in the books themselves. So it's almost like, in a 100-page book, it's probably more like 75 pages of normal text. So after we had 2 customers ask about them, we found all the ones that this publisher makes and separated them out, and we have another section for large print books for kids too. The large print books are not selling because, I mean, you got an iPad, you got a Kindle, you can adjust the size of the font. I don't understand why you need a book unless you're like me, where your eyes are like, can't read a screen too long. So we put those aside, and I thought they were kind of neat. I thought they were a really neat idea, and that conflates into the larger idea that I had for this project. But I don't want to bore you with it now. Anyway, I bought all these books. I bought one of the dyslexic books. And again, the reason I'm doing this project is because
you're mental.
Okay, so there are in the young adult category, there are very few books for teenage boys and young men. It's
rugged young men.
Rugged young men. It's over there was a guy who raised a bunch of shit because he went into a Target and took a video just panning the shelves in the book section, and it was all romantasy, all these frilly covers.
Yeah, it's all women authors, all female authors, right?
Yeah, the
sexy
Princess Queen.
vampires.
No sexy vampires, not sexy at all. Just the Princess Queen and blood and ash and bones and swords. And
male authors are more or less gone now from the bookshelves.
That's because the male editors are pretty much gone from the publishers too.
Yeah.
So they're just publishing, and why would they stop? Because that stuff is wildly popular, and they promote each other on TikTok, and they get these little TikTok fights, and da 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 da. There's a big community online for especially in the video sphere. A little bit on YouTube, big on TikTok. Why would they, if it's that profitable, why would they take a chance on anything else? So there's this other thing that's mostly online, and the books are mostly available online, like through places like Amazon, called Lit RPG, which is basically like if you were playing a role-playing game, this is the story. You're reading the text of that, and then they have like numbers of like what the character's strength and agility and smartness and all that kind of stuff is. It's like a book prose role-playing game, and there's tons of those out there, and that's what the boys are actually reading, but nobody knows this in the bookstore world because they aren't generally sold on books at bookstores. They're sold through online sites, and they're really big in audiobook. So so where was I going with this? So anyway, so I got a couple of the Lit RPG things because they've this company called Atheon, they are crushing it. They've got the Lit RPG stuff. They've got tons of audiobooks based on their Lit RPG stuff. They've got science fiction that dudes like, fantasy that dudes like. They had this book called Dungeon Crawler Carl that did get into bookstores and has been like this smash surprise hit. No one in the book industry knew where it came from, but it was like this huge success on this web site called Royal Road, where people read fiction for free there, and that's also a place where Lit RPG is king. So there's this whole thing that dudes are reading. They found their niche. They said, well, if I'm not welcome in the bookstore, they have to read in a chatto. I'm going to read this book in my niche, in my chatto.
Well, it is niche.
Well, they're doing. Oh, how it's pronounced, or you're saying
claiming the
genre? Okay, niche. So anyway, this is my usual long way of saying, like, I've discovered this new thing. Like when I found webtoons, there's this new thing that's actually not new at all. We just haven't heard about it because we're borderline boomers. But guys have figured it out. They've done their own thing, and I'm really proud of them for doing it. So, and I want to see what it's all about. So I ordered a few things from that as well. So, needless to say, I think I figured out a way to conflate this insane writer's Hollow Earth stories with the format of the Lit RPG, and there's other things that I won't get into that also dovetail into it, but I'm pretty excited. I think there's definitely a need, and this is something I would like to try to fulfill, and I'll probably have a lot of fun doing it because it's all a bunch of shit I like. So, except for the RPG thing, that's like kind of foreign to me. So I'm gonna have to boomer my way through that. And there you go.
Well, Kickstarter cover for me is that I'm still waiting on that Waterissa book. That won't be here till probably March. But on the creator side of things, I've got a few pages in from Rory of Debonair. Look amazing. And the caretaker's tails, all the interior stuff is done. I got the inside front artwork done, back cover, and I have halfway through the front cover of that. So I'm planning on getting that finished probably by Wednesday. Everything together, send it back to Rich, have Rich, if he needs to change the dialogue or anything like that, get it all to put together and hopefully launch in February. So
cool. And I got to thank you, Flint. I will thank you till the day I die, because that digest thing format that you use, that's playing a big part in this idea that I have. Because I will use thugs as like a form factor example, and white heat. They're form factor examples of what I wanted. What you really kind of like got me thinking with that. So thank you.
Well, Caretakers, the second issue will be digest, and then White Heat 4 will be digest. But the Debonair, I do have a Debonair spin-off that Rory's doing the artwork for, and that will be normal American size.
Right.
Because he's putting a lot of detail into this artwork. It looks absolutely amazing. It seems it'll suit a larger format.
Well, if I don't know if you want to keep it secret, so I'll be vague. Is the card game still coming along?
Yeah, I'm going to redo the artwork for the card game.
Right.
So I'll have that going as well.
But that was a solid idea. So
yeah,
that's awesome. Okay.
So that's it. So what about TV and movies, John?
Movies wise, I watched The Rip, 1 hour 53, brand new 2026 film, 15 rated, 6.9 on IMDb, starring Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Steve Yeun,
Damon.
That's right, Tiana Taylor, Catalina Sandino Moreno, and Mr. Ross's favorite actor, Scott Adkins.
Woohoo!
Yes, very generic tale. Cops who their job is to go and raid houses that have loads of like money inside them, like drug money and shit. They're normally like 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand. This one starts off with their boss being the spoilers ahead. Ashley Beeching's ahead. Spoilers ahead. There starts off with one of their compatriots being murdered, and then we just kick off into this tale. They turn up at this. Yes, turn up at a little close. They raid the house. They bring the dog in because and the dog sniffs out money, and the dog goes crazy, and it's $20 million in the house. And then the shit hits the fan. They get a phone call saying you've got, I think it was like 30 minutes to get out. Anyway, but before this, there's a little bit where, or during this as well, Matt Damon keeps on. Go on, say it.
Matt Damon.
Well done.
See, part of the Film Actors Guild.
Yeah. Hey. He tells each member of the group a different amount that they've been sent to raid. Now, I got that on the second one, obviously, because the first one is the first number. So he tells one of the people we were here to get 150,000. Then the second person he talks to them about the raid, he says, yeah, we're here for 300,000. And straight away, my ears pricked up. And I went, fucking hell. I'm sure he said 150,000 earlier, that other person. And then I sort of like, it started to go in. I thought, he thinks there's a rat with him because he's telling them all different numbers. And that's what he was doing. I won't ruin the sort of the climax of it, but some of the shootout scenes, when there's a big shootout scene on the building they're in, that was pretty impressive. And whether this next bit is true or not, the person who's in the house, who's looking after this, but seemingly doesn't know what she's looking after. If you give intel to a raid and they get a load of money, you're entitled to 20% of that money if you're a certain person, which I won't say. And so that would be quite a lot if it was 20 million. So basically, it all kicks off. Fucking, there's mystery still when this cop car turns up, and Matt Damon. Thank you. And Ben are outside, and they go up to the cop car, and then it's really weird from there on. So you're thinking, this is strange. So there's the thriller and the mystery of it. Action's really good. Acting's, I thought the acting was nothing wrong with the acting. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, you haven't got to do much when you're just a cop. So yeah, was it worth watching? Yeah, I watched it in one sitting. I didn't pause it, just sat there and relaxed and enjoyed it. There's nothing afterwards. You know what I mean? There's no like Marvel shit where there's something after the credits. But yeah, enjoyable stuff. I can see you, Rossy, and your dad watching this. Your dad will enjoy the weapon play. So yeah,
it's neither good, neither bad.
It's
like
exactly what you
Hemsworth
expect.
Movies. It's like a Chris Hemsworth movies with Jason Statham.
Yeah,
it's like
it's exactly what you expect. Yeah, something. It just goes in front of you. At the end of it, you're just like, oh right, okay, then that was all right. You know what I mean? So yeah.
It's funny because my dad's reflexes tends to go to Netflix, like when it's time for us to, it's like, oh well, I don't have anything, after Landman, so let's just find some old thing. And he goes to Netflix, and I'm like, there's something about Netflix I just can't stand. Amazon's got Reacher. Did that Tom Clancy series that was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I watched that.
Yeah, it's kind of like even though they also have, Rings of Power and have fucked up some of the old fantasy novel series, it's for dudes blowing up shit stories, they tend to be a lot better for that kind of thing. So anyway, go ahead.
Yep. So would I recommend it for a watch? Yep. You'll enjoy it. If you enjoy that sort of stuff, it's definitely an enjoyable thing. So that's what I watched film-wise. TV, well, I'm still doing the documentaries, The World of Hammer, that 30-part series. I'm absolutely loving it. You know what I mean? It's from the 1990s, but with Oliver Reed speaking of it, it's not the greatest documentary thing, but it's highly enjoyable because it's bringing back fucking so many memories that I mean, when I watched the one where was the first one, it was Peter Cushing, and they kept showing bits of the film She, which is funny because her name is Aisha, and my sister I detest called her daughter Aisha, and I've got it from good authority back.
Be obeyed.
And I've got it from good authority back home from my other sister that there's been a massive falling out, and the first thing I said was, well, obviously our Helen didn't obey Aisha. You give a name like that without realizing what it means, that's unlucky for you. But yeah, I'm fucking loving it. Once we finish this, I'm having my tea, I'm watching the next 2 episodes that I've got recorded, so I'm looking forward to that. Reference to series, Mr. Ross mentioned it, Landman. I watched the final episode. Now, weirdly, the penultimate episode, or as we like to say, the penultimate loop episode, there was a lot of talk on the web afterwards, a fucking shitload. In fact, Billy Bob went online to say, you've been watching AI versions of me talk about this, that, and the other. He's not leaving the series because he got sacked at the end of the penultimate episode. And you're just like, fucking hell, he's the character. But then I did, not a deep dive, but I did a dive where it was like more information because I kept seeing these videos pop up and I'm thinking, what the fuck's this about? And I knew it must be fucking fake. So I watched some stuff and he was saying like, well, what you need to know is, and I'm not going to ruin it, but this, and this. So the final episode aired. I watched that. It was fucking, it had one of those endings where I was sat there going, do you know what? I'm fucking highly satisfied with that. You know what I mean? There was a nice little play with that little fucking ultra fucking loony lefty with the pronouns and shit at the college. Is it college or university? So there was a nice little. Have you watched the final one, Rossy?
No.
All right. Well, there's a nice.
It's okay. I mean, I don't get spoiled by spoilers.
Yeah, there's a nice little interplay between them two characters again, which was nice. But the you know what happened with the girl and the young lad at the back alley of the where she was a barmaid. That goes a lot worse, and then Tommy gets involved instantly. He gets the female lawyer involved, and you watch her. You see where she earns her money. Obviously, it's all scripted, this shit, but you can see in the series where she earns her money because she's done her due diligence research before she turns up at the police station. So that was really good.
Oh my God! As opposed to She-Hulk, where they had no idea how a courtroom works.
That's right.
Just from watching other courtroom shows.
That to me, out of the episode, what she did in that police station was the best bit. She put everyone in their place. She had researched the cops who did the arrest and all the cops who were the case cops. She fucking shut them all down. Then Tommy gets involved more. He turns up, and so that whole situation is really good. But he also mentions to the fiance, because he's out in the garden. The boy's out in the garden doing the grass, cutting the lawn, and he says this will play on his. He says something along the lines of, "This will play on his mind for the rest of his life," sort of thing, because of what's happened. And then at the end, you get a lovely interaction with all of the crew. The physical therapist has stayed the night in the bed with the fucking dad. Nothing's happened.
Yeah,
that was well played. That was funny as fuck. I love the interaction between, like, basically the grandfather and the dad. That was quite funny. And heartfelt. So you get lots of stuff and then it ends with a fantastic bit, and I'm looking forward to season 3. You know what I mean? So it's unusual for because basically it could end now and you wouldn't be upset. You know what I mean? But it opens it up now for lots of other stuff to happen next season. But I thoroughly loved it.
Great.
Now, I've watched 5 minutes. You know what's coming to you? I've watched 5 minutes of Star Trek Starfleet Academy.
Oh my God.
What an absolute pile of shit. Well, probably 10 minutes, actually. I tell a lie. Everything about it's just garbage. You know what I mean? It's like Beverly Hills 90210 with all the people. They've even done a poster, haven't they, where they're all laid on the grass.
Yep.
Which is very similar to one of those.
That's enough to turn you off. That's enough to say that this isn't really Star Trek.
It isn't.
Well, it's not for you. They're going for that young adult audience. But
yeah, but they don't want to. They don't want to watch Star Trek.
No, they don't. They got their own thing.
Yes, I know they've got their own stuff. If they want to watch their, you know, what I mean, it's like I'm not going to watch fucking that vampire TV film series or what it was called, where it was fucking vampires versus werewolves, where it's all sexy, and the new Batman came from it. What was that one called?
Twilight.
Oh, Twilight?
That's right. So that's not for me. That's not for me. So I'm not going to watch that. We made the mistake of watching the first film because it was on one night and we were just flicking the channels. Went, oh, let's watch this, and we laughed at everything in it. We said, "Is this a comedy?" You know, because it was like, was this deliberately like that? But yeah, it's all supposed to be sexy and that. So that's not for us, right? So I don't watch any of those. I don't watch Harry Potter. You know what I mean? It's not for me. We always slag off people on the TV in a quiz show when they're like probably 30 and they get to the final bit and they say, "What category would you like?" And they say Harry Potter, and we're like, "You're adults. You don't want to be fucking out."
See, here's the thing though, that generation, those things, even those are so old now.
Yes.
That generation grew up and now are in their 40s And they're the ones writing these how do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah.
Teenage shows that they liked. You know, it's like
but they won't watch them, and that's the thing. So this Starfleet Academy, they've gone on like blah blah blah. You're like, okay, you've got all your diverse stuff, no problem with that. It was diverse when the original Star Trek was filmed because that's what you wanted. It wasn't a United States spaceship; it was United Federation or United Spaceship thing. But you had Russian. You had the Oriental, because that was what it was called at the time, the Asian. You had the black woman who had the first interracial screen kiss in America, which was Shatner and her. And I think I'm seeing it now because it's been on the TV so many times that he kisses it and turns around, so you don't quite see it, but you know they've kissed.
Well, he's forced to kiss her.
That's right. So you get all of these things. So you've had all these things. You've got the Scottish person. I mean, that's the worst thing. A fucking intelligent Scottish person in charge of engineering. Who would have heard of such a thing? So you've got all this, and you've got the Texan, all that sort of stuff. The Texan playing the Scottish person. So you had all that sort of stuff, and every series since we've had the diverse without throwing it and pushing it into your face. You know, I watched Star Trek as a kid, right? And I just went, this is brilliant. I love it. I never went, oh, a black woman. Oh, a Russian. Oh, and this. Oh, and that. I just went, the crew are fantastic. I love them. So that was it. And when I watched the one that you detest, Flynn, I watched Star Trek, The Next Generation. So I was in the army at the time. And
I detest them all.
and I enjoyed that, but I enjoyed it when it didn't keep doing the one and done episodes. I preferred it when it started to introduce the Borg and we had these crossovers and shit. But I would say my favourite one out of the lot, I'm just sort of thinking, and I would say it would be Deep Space Nine, because I didn't again. Same with fucking Voyager. I didn't think, oh, it's a female person. Deep Space Nine, oh, it's a black man in charge. I just went, brilliant acting, excellent sets. And when Worf turned up, I was like, fucking hell, Worf's in.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, but the thing is, as a kid and an adult, I never watched these things going, oh, let me get me tick book. Oh, black person, probably a gay person, probably this person. I never did that. I just watched it and went, that was an excellent episode. I love the story. I love the way the characters all interplayed. The one that Carolyn always laughs about is, I say to her, the most tear-jerking episode of Star Trek for me ever was when Worf broke his back and he wanted to be dead. I said that was heartbreaking for me, and she laughs. But that's the thing. You just put everything out of your head and just watch it and see where the program goes. But with me, with the Starfleet Academy, it's basically we have to tick this, and all you're seeing is ticks. You know what I mean? I've seen people who've discussed it and they've said, why are people wearing glasses? Your eyesight was corrected if your eyesight was wrong. You don't need to have glasses in this. You know what I mean? Things like that. Then they were on about the Jem Hadar. There's a character that's part Jem Hadar and part, I'm not 100% sure, it might be Klingon, but experts who've watched the show and know the background said that's impossible because the Jem Hadar were genetically created to be the soldiers of that race in Voyager, I think it was. So they don't reproduce. And then people go, yeah,
if it's not on the Wikipedia page, the writers won't know it.
Yeah, but that's what I've seen in interviews where people have said, well, this is wrong, this is wrong. So I watched the first 10 minutes and I just went, even the very first scene with the kid who grows up to be one of the characters on the thing, his mum is arrested because she took part in a bit with the main baddie, right? Now, also, is it Holly Hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is she a stroke victim? Right? Because there's a scene, which is I don't know if it's in the trailer or some scene I've seen, where she replies to somebody on the bridge, and I couldn't understand a word she fucking said. And her mouth's at a strange angle. And I'm thinking, Has she suffered a mild stroke in the past?
No, Critical Drinker said that her dentures weren't put in right.
Oh, right, because I honestly, I couldn't understand what she said in the first sentence. And I'm just like, and I put the words up as well. It was on YouTube. I put the words up and I'm like, is that what she said?
Yeah. Well, congratulations, John. You were one of the 1,000 people that saw those 2 episodes. Only 1,000 people watched it.
Well, when I got back this morning, I thought to myself, because I watched this on the phone, this 10 minutes, I thought, you know what? Let's put it on the TV. Not available in this country on YouTube on the TV.
Oh.
Because I've got the
VPN.
That's right, on the phone. I can watch it. So I'm actually in America at the moment, and jokingly, I'm in Arizona. I've got down my fingers Arizona, so I'm probably next door to you, Flint. Oh my goodness. I won't be watching anything on that, but obviously I'm not going to be able to not see clips because there's going to be all over my favourite people talking about it. You know what I mean? Right. If they want to be like that, but I'm telling you now, the ratings are going to fucking be atrocious, and they're brought upon themselves. You know, it's like when they do a comic character and they say we're going to make this comic character, let's say gay, transgender, whatever. They want to make this. They want to change that. You're like, well, how many of those people are going to buy that comic because you've done that? And I will have a guess.
Want people in the military to be in better physical shape too.
Yes. You know what I mean? Well, we're all going to war, apparently, because my feed is full of shit about the 5 things that are going to make people have to fight World War III. And all I just keep replying to this thing, which obviously means I get it more. I just put down, is this the level of the MSM now? You're fucking just full of bollocks. You know what I mean? It's like also with cars. Because obviously I was looking at cars and stuff. I'm getting these constantly things saying, more people buying EV cars. Then at the very next fucking thing from the same newspaper or the same news outlet, people are shunning EV cars because of this. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, this is just fucking clickbait shite. You know what I mean?
So much for the VPN protecting you.
Well, the VPN, I don't have to cut all that out. I'm doing it so I can see everything and record stuff.
Oh, I see.
I'm not like you. I'm not bothered with people seeing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? When I'm watching all this fucking Korean sex videos, who cares?
So this is and here's another reason why creatives hate AI, is that somebody made a trailer for Starfleet Academy. It's like 1.5 minutes long, and it's the Starfleet Academy that you would want to see.
Oh.
It was like, what if they actually gave you the show that you thought it should be when they said Starfleet Academy, and everybody looked like they were fighting fit, and you know the cast, still a diverse cast, but doing stuff that looked like it would be a good drama series that fits in with the Star Trek universe instead of a YA novel. And it's like, wow. And it makes that makes their show look even worse. So then that probably cost a grand total of $50 to do that trailer. So
you see, what the problem is, what's happened is they've done all the commission of this when the madness of crappy, insane wokeness. I mean,
what's at its height?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, when people go, "Oh, you're saying woke," look, when there's insane woke, and there's, if you want to say, allowing people to be able to live their life without fucking, so long as it doesn't interfere with others within any means. If you're saying that's woke, I just say that's normal, right? Woke madness is when you then don't let somebody else have a job because that person must have the job, right? That's madness, because surely it's the best person. And when then people go, yeah, but they'll always choose this person. Well, if you're, but that doesn't mean you can't not that, like that person. Like the in the RAF at the UK, they had a thing and they got to cut. I'm not 100% sure, but they got sort of ripped apart through it. I don't know if it went to court or something, but they're not allowed to do it now. But they were not allowing white men to join the RAF. But the thing was, Nobody else was joining, right?
Yeah.
So the adverts with the British Army were all fucking shite. Nobody was joining the army. Now that my feed is full of all this shit, we're going to war. We need to get you all join. Every squaddy that I know has went. They can fuck right off. You know what I mean? They've shat on us afterwards. You know what I mean? There's people who've been injured and stuff, and like you're not getting me. If it comes down to like we have to fight in the streets and shit to protect our houses, we'll fight then. But I'm not fighting for this government. You know, you're basically dragging us into something. You've shat on us once you've left. You've shat on us when we were in there, and that's the Tories as well. You've made the military smaller and smaller and smaller. Personally, I think we're going to end up like invasion. So Pat Mills got it right. So the Russians are going to invade the UK, and me being a lorry driver, I will be the fucking original Bill Savage.
Volgans.
But instead of Bill Savage being, because I'm more than Bill Savage, because I have my fucking stuff in the background, I will be fucking fighting with better than a shotgun, I tell you that. So it was the Russians, and they were shooting from their parachutes as they landed an oil rig. Yeah. But yes, so it's all madness over here, but it's not as bad as America.
Twinkle toes.
That's it. But yeah, that was it. And I've decreed that anyone who had a fucking Ukrainian flag in their feed, who said we need to fight for Ukraine and all them sort of things that have happened in the last few years, we need to fight for this, all of yous have got to be conscripted. And if you don't fucking go and fight because you've been fucking rooting for this fight against Russia, well, just line you up against a wall and shoot you.
You know, maybe I should make an AI trailer for Rogue Trooper, since they're not going to bother to do it. Well, and you do stuff like that, and then you get shat on, like in the comment. Like I forgot how many views that Starfleet Academy thing got. A lot of the comments were like, "Yes, this is the show I would like to see." Remember that guy who did the Bad Company trailer, which wasn't. It was far from perfect, but it was
that was fun.
It showed potential.
Well, it showed the idea in action, and it's kind of like, okay, so it's been how many years? How many years since the last Dread movie? They still haven't got Rogue Trooper out. So between now and then, how much 2000 AD stuff has been in the media? You know, as a TV show or cartoon. Well, Absalom. How long has it been since the Absalom cartoon? And does anybody even remember it? I'm sure there's people listening going like, "What the fuck's he even talking about?" So AI comes along. It's like, you know what? For $50, you could make a pretty badass ABC Warriors trailer. Not everything's going to work, but I'll bet things like Shakara, Nemesis the Warlock, ABC Warriors. You know, you could probably make a pretty cool trailer for like $50 for all of those things and show people like, and even the Bad Company one, as imperfect it was, it's okay. And everybody's like, everyone in the comic groups are like, "Oh, it's AI, stolen." It's like, yeah, of course it's stolen. It's based on characters that the guy who did the video doesn't own, but you know, so is every piece of fan art you guys post in that group. So is everything done during the month of Drocktober. So I don't know what your problem is now. Ix.
Yeah, I mean, what was it last year this time? They were all laughing because the AI had 6 fingers and 7 fingers.
Who's laughing now?
Yeah, look at the level now. What's it going to be like next year? What's it going to be like in 2 years' time? It literally will be within. I would say within 5 years, I will be able to sit at this fucking computer. You won't be at yours, Rossy, because yours is shit. I'll be able to sit at this computer.
Rossy's will still be on the stairs.
Yeah. So I would be able to sit here.
It'll be on the desk.
I'll sit here and type in or talk to the computer saying, "I'd like to do this, that, the other. This person looks a bit like that. This, that. I want that to happen. I want this to happen. I want this type of weapon to be used." And I will be able to fucking do an awesome fucking, you know, I won't do a film.
That's exactly how it works now.
Well, but I'm saying it will be perfect.
Yeah.
There'll be nothing wrong with it within 5 years. Probably even quicker than that. But within 5 years, you'll be able to do every aspect of it. You'll be able to just
Well,
sit there and go, this, that, and the other. I want this, I want that, you know, and then you'll have, well, Rebellion will stand no chance then, I mean, to do any films, because everyone will be doing their own Judge Dredd films. Everyone who likes the other characters, like you said, Shakara, people, I mean, Shakara would be awesome because it's all alien stuff. You know, anything that's aliens or robots, nothing can be wrong apart from the initial design.
Right, you get away from the human type characters and like, you know, Nemesis the Warlock, and they have tons of the whole, you know, coded as white man, which would include Rogue Trooper, even though he's blue, is basically a we didn't know this until Alex DeCampi came along, but he's basically a, you know, white guy painted blue. But you know, but yeah, so but all the other stories that don't involve, you know, get away from Nikolai Dante and put in I don't know, help me out here, Ace Garp.
Yeah.
You know, that would be awesome.
That's right.
But so and I mean, you could literally remake that weird animated cartoon that came out in 2012, that Judge Death cartoon.
Oh yeah.
You could make it that you could make that look the way you wanted to see it in the first place.
And I know they're all screaming, this is this, that, and the other. But none of these people are bothered about all these other fucking multiple millions of jobs that get taken away by AI. In fact, they are part of them people getting the jobs taken. So once they decided not to go into banks and just use the phone app all the time. Now, I go to the bank all the time to get my money out in cash because I prefer to spend in cash. It's only because of this thing the other day it was a fiasco. Now, none of them give a shit about those jobs. All those tellers that have fucking gone, I'll use the American term there, or the cashiers, they've all lost their jobs. Fucking loads of thousands of banks are shut. And multiple other jobs get done because they want things cheaper and cheaper. So all these people who scream about their job being affected by AI, like I said, they were never bothered about other people's jobs. You know, they were on about fucking all the taxis all the driverless taxis. Well, that's taking people's jobs. So if you get into one of those taxis, even just to say I've been in one, you don't give a shit about taxi drivers. So when they go on about this sort of stuff, I just think you're all a bunch of hypocrites.
Well, again, going back to the bad company thing, those are all like existing jobs that were lost because of AI. Where in production was the bad company film that like all of a sudden this fan-made trailer comes up? It's like, oh, everybody's losing their jobs because a fan made a bad company. As long as 2000 AD remains a relatively obscure comic book and comic book only, the fan trailers would only help to elevate the way that it's seen and perceived in the public eye. Except everybody's so down on the AI thing that it's like, oh, Rebellion allowed this trailer to be made, blah 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 blah, and it's like, it's just this. There was this joke about the punchline to the joke was about this fisherman. He was getting crabs and he had one. Yeah, well, he was catching crabs and he had one bucket with the grating on top and a rock on it, and those were the regular crabs. And then there was one bucket that he didn't bother to put the grating or a rock on top of. And they said, "What's up with those crabs?" He goes, "Oh, those are Mexican crabs. They keep dragging each other back down into the bucket." And that's exactly how the fucking comic book industry is, where everybody's trying to grab each other back down into the bucket. And
well, that's how communism works, Rossy.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's the version of the joke I heard, but I'm sure that there's different takes on it.
They use it for explaining communism. You don't want people to be unique or get above everybody else. You want everybody in the same low playing field.
Yeah, the tall nail gets hit in the head. And
so why would anyone put the years in to become a doctor or a pilot or something like that when you get paid the exact same as a person who is a zebra crossing fucking attendant?
Somebody does a not perfect bad company trailers, let's say, and it circulates among 2000 AD fans, and you know, instead of like, oh, AI, people just go like, yeah, that was pretty good. And it just circulates among 2000 AD fans a little tiny bit outside, and almost nobody outside of the fandom hears about it. Somebody does a bitchin' ABC Warriors cartoon that all the 2000 AD fans go like, holy shit, that's the movie I want to see. And then it goes into groups where, people who like robots. It's like, hey, look at these robots I'd never heard of before. Hey, this looks like it could be a good movie. Like, a bad trailer will only be like politely regarded amongst fans. A great one might elevate their profile outside of the fandom a little bit. So I think the risk the reward outweighs the potential risk in a lot of ways. And it's like they've got so many characters and so many things. And it's like they're only going to focus on the ones that are the most filmable and the most commercial, which will basically be the white dude stories, unless they do something really stupid and go with like, I don't know, try to make Cow de Moto or Halo Jones or one of their female-led strips, which would just be even worse than trying to do Rogue Trooper, But it's, anyway, I got so off topic on that, so sorry.
Okay, Rossy, so what shows did you watch?
Well, Flint, so aside from Landman,
did you watch anything? Did you watch anything with Matt Damon?
No, your Matt Damon sounds more special needs than just Matt Damon.
Well, he is special needs.
So, well, speaking of special needs, I saw a movie you worked on. I saw Felidae, and my copy came to me via the Internet Archive, so I was able to download it and put it on a USB and watch it on my TV for free. And it was a pretty good DVD.
Was it the English language version or was it the German?
It was the English language version, and it was pretty good picture quality. I would say like good 90s DVD quality. So in all honesty, if I read the Wikipedia page about what it was about and how they made it and why and all that, I probably wouldn't watched it. But since you had mentioned it and you said you were pretty proud of it, I thought, well, I've seen Titan AE and I think I've seen almost everything he worked on. I haven't seen Anastasia yet. So, but I've seen clips of it from the music video my future wife did. So anyway, I watched.
She's dead. Aaliyah?
Aaliyah?
Yeah, she did the music for Anastasia.
No, my future wife who did the Spanish language song.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
Oh, yes, it does.
This is America, motherfucker. Speak English.
She lives in New York and she speaks English fine.
I'm
She's
kidding.
married to Tommy Mottola. She's part of the Illuminati. She's fine. So anyway, so I watched. So the long preamble, I watched it and I liked it. It was pretty amazing. I was shocked because I knew it wasn't a kid's cartoon, but I wasn't expecting a talking cats movie to be that much not for kids.
Well, it's in the same vein as Plague Dogs or Watership Down.
Yeah, it's probably a little harder than Watership Down, but I was entertained. I thought the animation was pretty great. The voice act, people criticize the voice acting, the English language voice acting. It was fine. I mean, it's very much a mystery. Like they're trying to figure out what happens with these cats. Spoiler. Spoiler without being specific. So this is a German cartoon based on a German best-selling novel. You literally never see the human characters except like in passing. They're just, you see one on video, and I don't even remember if you see the main cat's owner. Yeah, you do hear his voice. Anyway, the humans are barely in it. It's mostly the cats trying to solve this mystery about who's killing all these other cats. So it's a German cartoon, and the final solution turns out to be
The final
eugenics,
solution.
creating a master race.
Yeah.
And getting rid of the what the Henry Kissinger called the eaters. And it's like, whoa. So it's got a couple of jabs at religion in there too. And there's some sexy time in there as well, which is that one of the scenes you animated?
No, I don't think I did anything there. I only remember one or two scenes, but I'm sure I animated a lot of it. I did a good bit of it, but yeah, I thought that was completely lost. I had memories of working on it and going into work and working on it, but the movie itself, I can't even remember if I even saw the whole thing when we finished it. I'm sure we did, because the guy who ran the studio, or who owned the studio, was Paul Bulger, and Paul is an amazing artist, and he's a fantastic animator, and he was my boss. And I'm sure when the movie was done and finished, we all got to watch it. But I have no recollection of it. It was kind of lost to the memory until I saw it pop up on Tubi. I'm like, oh, holy crap! Would you look at that? So then I searched it out on Blu-ray, and they'd released a Blu-ray version of it a few years ago.
Yeah, that's what it said on Wikipedia. That it was like this one of those boutique companies released it. And like you said, it mostly been lost because it never got a US release.
Never got released in the
totally
US.
See why. Yeah, you could easily see why. There's no way. It's probably one of the crazy thing about it is even though it's really good, it's probably one of the least commercial movies ever made. You just sit there going like, who the fuck thought that like however many millions of people would need to see this to make a profit would shell out money to see this
it did okay in Germany. It did okay in Germany.
Yeah, right, because they knew the book.
I worked on a couple of other German movies as well. The Werner series that never got released anywhere else. There's one called Werner Eat My Dust, and the guy, the way the character looks, let me look him up. I'm sure my recollection is good. It looks like he has a dong on his face. I worked on that.
The design, whoever designed all the cats did the animator right thing by like all the cats look totally different, so you could tell them apart.
Well, one of the things in the studio was that there was multiple cats walking around the studio, so that way you could watch them when you were animating or drawing.
Yeah, and they got the cat movement down pretty well too.
Yeah, because the cats, when you went into the studio, if you were the first one in the studio that morning, the fucking stink from the litter boxes, unbelievable. Yeah. So that had to be, if you were first in, you empty that right away.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was not good. The stink.
And somebody had to animate the female cat in heat. That was hilarious.
Yeah. And I think they even showed her buttholes in it too, Rossy.
They did, yes. As a matter of fact, they went the Cats live action or CGI live action Cats movie. They said that at one point they had CGI'd in the cat's buttholes, and then they had to take them out again and they said we should demand the butthole cut.
It's funny. Yeah, but it's I had good memories working on that show, on that movie.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that Paul couldn't keep the studio going. I think it was basically because of Paul that movie got made, because he was a big fan of the graphic novel.
Oh,
or
so
the book. I don't think it was a graphic novel. I think it was a book. But he was a big fan of the book. He was a huge fan of the book, so I think that's what did it. I can't remember if it was a graphic novel. It might have been.
The Wikipedia, it implied there was just a book.
Yeah, it could have been just a book.
Which is even crazier that you would read like, a few hundred pages of prose about these cats trying to solve a mystery. Which is it's a pretty straightforward, who done it. So it's like, but they're cats. So
yeah, they did do a kind of graphic novel version of it, but they took all the stills from the movie.
Oh, it's like screen
I
grabs,
think they
like
did.
they do the Ghibli
Yeah.
movies. Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, that's. Did you work on a? This is going to be like a deep cut, and the odds are not good. But did you ever hear about or work on Captain Blue Bear from Germany?
No.
You know what it is? That was
No.
another. That was an illustrated. It was an illustrated novel, and my friend over in England sent it to me. I said, "What's it about?" And he goes, "It's about a bear that's blue." And I said, "Well, what's the story?" Because I couldn't even tell you what the story's about. You just have to read it, and I did. And so it was the book I would recommend at work. Like, if you want to try something different. And one of my friends working at the store at the time, he was an animator, and he read it and he went fucking nuts over the thing. And he said he was hand selling it to he knew a lot of animators coming in to shop, and he said he would recommend it to all of them. And
I don't
apparently
think it's ever been. I don't think it's ever. Oh, it has been animated, I think.
Yeah, so it was animated over in Germany, but it's one of those things like Felidae. There's stuff all over the world that just never makes its way over here. There was some movies about flying guinea pig in Finland there were big hits over there, and it's like until I saw the bargain DVD, I had no idea it even existed. So, and it's a whole series of books about this thing. So I'm like, what the hell? The world's a much more exciting place than Warner Brothers and Universal and Disney would
Well,
have you believe.
I worked on commercials that they didn't sell the products in Ireland, and they didn't even know they existed
Yeah.
in Ireland. I worked on Count Chocolate ads.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they didn't sell Count Chocolate in Ireland. So that was like, what the hell is this? And then they had I don't know if you remember Mighty Max, John, the ice cream.
I recognize the name.
I think I worked on one of those commercials too. I also worked on the Ace Ventura video game, the PC thing. They were a big thing around that time. Ace Ventura. God, I'm trying to remember all the crap I worked on. But yeah, I worked on most of the stuff I've ever worked on has been garbage. But Felidae wasn't garbage. Felidae was actually really good.
It's quite an art movie. I think the problem is it's such a tough sell that but I don't know. I mean, maybe people like cats would that there's that whole series of Warrior Cats books that again, I don't know where in the world of production the Warrior Cats adaptation might be, but some fans just went fuck it and animated like big chunks of the first book and put them up on YouTube just by pre-AI, just by hand. And looks, kind of looks like Flash animation or something. Looks good though. And, they were not waiting around for a studio to do it because A, when will they get it done? And B, well, how good might it be if you might get one crack at it and then they'll suck. So, but anyway.
All right, so you guys want to do go ahead.
No, I think for the sake of, I don't remember there was real fast. This is for John, but I can't really recommend it. I started to watch a thing called I Kill Monsters or How I Kill. Anyway, something about killing monsters. It's a British movie. It starts off with a ton of deaths, and there were deaths up until I fell asleep. And it's based on a book which is why I started to watch it. It was based on the book had kind of like on purpose, it was like 80s horror novel design and vibes. So I was like, oh, I'll give it a look, give it a try. But it was just so like if you were making a laundry list of every joke you're going to make about 80s horror, there it is. And it played out in a very, I don't want to say not funny, but it was just kind of like, it felt like a student film almost, the way they were pulling it off. But it had a lot of practical effects and like I said, deaths. If I hadn't been so tired, I might have been more more into it. But anyway.
Yeah.
There we go.
Right.
Well,
Let's talk.
Pew, pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble Grub.
Okay, Prog 2465. We have a cover by Toby Wilsmere. What do you think?
I like it. At first, I thought it might have been the rear story, the discarded, but then I saw the beaded hat wearer at the bottom, and I went, right.
Yeah, me too.
I like it, but it's very flat.
I see.
It takes you a second to realize what you're looking at. So if you're just strolling by the magazine rack, it might not jump out at you. And especially since like the main character is like, unless you're reading the Prog, it just looks like a dude in a beanie. You know, my usual complaint about that strip. And
perhaps, I was going to say, perhaps if they move that tapped out down a bit, you'd see more of the fucking main character.
Yeah, they'd have to move the guy leaping from up above, and they'd have to scoot a few things around. I mean, it's fun. The image it's a fun image.
Well, they're all attacking Hearn, but there's only two of them looking at him. They just look as if they're locking off into different places, or
yeah. Well,
that's kind of strange.
Maybe there's stuff happening off panel. You don't know that. Actually, there is stuff. If you read the story, there's stuff happening. So
yeah, but you don't do that for a cover, Rossy.
I know. I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt. So, but it's fine. I mean, the story it's illustrating isn't anyone's favorite, but we'll get to that.
But don't you think it's weird because they're shortish, aren't they? I reckon they could easily take a lot of tall, strong, muscle women. in yeah, easily.
Yeah, right.
You just watched that clip then.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Rossy, did you read Destroyed Life?
Yes, it's it's almost like an AI allegory where the guy with the tie doesn't want to be a part of the oppressive workforce that uses up resources and everything else, and if he could put himself into a little organic tangerine, that would be how he could save the earth. And then anyway, there's a punchline. It was funny. I like Droid Life. I like that one. It was good. I didn't do it justice describing it.
Judge Dredd, Death of a Judge, Part 2, John Wagner, Mike Perkins, Chris Bly, and Andy Parkhouse.
The mechanismos are rolled out, and the first use of them happens at Groovy Juvie Daycare, where one of them takes out 3 perps within seconds. Later, Dredd is out on patrol, thinking about his current situation when he rolls up next to a dangerous vehicle. He taps the door with his day stick and he notices loads of explosives, which then explode as it was a setup. And I'm feeling cock-a-doodie, dirty birdie.
And why is that?
Because he would have been blown to pieces with that explosives that close to him. It's ripped off part of the metallic part of his bike, yet there doesn't, and bits of his metal parts of his uniform seem to be damaged, but he doesn't seem to be hurt that much. There's no shrapnel hitting him. Now, seems though I shall go into facts. I was part of bomb disposal. I know what shrapnel does at close quarters. And he'd be dead. So
well,
I'm sick of it. Right?
I think his cock is protecting him. If you look at the angle of the explosion there,
just fucking it. You know what I mean? If he'd have fucking driven away quick and crashed or something, I don't know. But it's like fucking hell. How many times did this shit happen? And it is, and we know where the cock-a-doodle birdie came from, don't we?
Yes.
But it just annoys me. You know what I mean? I like the artwork. I like the mixture of artwork because you've got the highly detailed stuff, reference the first page, middle panel with the judges and the chief judge and all the reporters doing it. I think they're all fake news, so they're probably not going to tell the truth. Then you get the images that look as though they're taken from some person that he knows, like the chief judge down below. That just looks as though it's somebody. The mechanism over that gets. Yeah, go on.
The news announcer looks like Louis Gossett Jr. The guy with the white block. And I will add, this story is proof that you shouldn't let English people design luchador masks.
I understand.
That's supposed to be a luchador mask?
I think it is.
Bottom third page.
It doesn't look like a ski mask.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my contribution.
Here's the funny thing. Mike Perkins' artwork, when you see the black and white pages he posts, the artwork looks better in black and white than it does in color. I mean, it really pops in black and white. You know, the color tends to murky it.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then and you look at panels like on the penultimate page, the top right-hand panel, where it's showing the city and it's got a little inset panel in it where it shows Dread. A fantastic cityscape. You know what I mean? It didn't even need to go in that much detail, but that's just fantastic. And you've got the judges at the bottom, but it just shows you where Dread is in relationship to it. You know what I mean? So he's putting a hell of a lot of effort into it in places where a lot of other people wouldn't.
Good stuff on Mike Perkins. I think he's doing the Batman stuff at the moment as well. Like, I mean, the dark bat stuff, so he's doing good for himself.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with reference to you saying the Batman, I can see him doing similar cityscapes in the Batman world, because obviously with him doing his stuff, you get all that, don't you?
Yeah, he's I think this is his first ever Dread. I don't think he's drawn Dread before.
Well, the
book that he does is the book that he does for DC is the Batman First Night, Dan Jurgens, and he does the artwork for it, and it looks amazing too. Okay, Kern and Shook. Go ahead, Rossy.
Well, I mean, it feels like a good old-fashioned Dread story. It's without the trolling of Rob Williams or the long drag-outedness of Ken Dinman. Yeah. So anyway.
Kern and Shook Power Trip Part 3, David Burnett, Lee Milmore, Gary Cadwell, and Annie Parkhouse.
Okay, and a bit of foreshadowing. There's a mom and her girl who, the little girl is into princesses, and she passes Hearn as he goes into the pub to see Brigantia to try to get her vote so he can be the horned god or whatever that version of that is supposed to be. So that pub turns out to be not where she is now, and they send him off to another pub, which is under a bridge. Oh, I get it now. Anyway, and he runs. So he runs into
the trolls under the bridge, Rossy.
Yeah, I get it now. Wow, the subtlety just like escaped me. So he runs into a troll that looks like one of the Sopranos, and who threatens her and runs off. And Brigantia isn't a goddess anymore because nobody believes in her. And she ran into some trouble with the trolls. I don't think she calls them. She calls them the Durgar, but they're just fucking trolls. So, and so are we, aren't we all? So the trolls show up, and then they get into the fight that we see after Hearn laughs at them, they get into the fight that we see on the cover of the comic, and Brigantia starts to get a little of her power back, a little of her mojo back, but nobody believes in her, and she doesn't believe in herself. And then the little girl and her mom happen to be walking by the bar at the time of the fight, and the little girl thinks that she's looks and sees a prince, thinks that Brigantia is a princess, and whom Oliver magic powers come back, and her goddess crown comes back and destroys all the trolls, and she ends up given. Well, actually, Ern assumes that she's going to give him the vote, but will she?
Who cares?
So, what did you think, John?
I didn't mind it. That's terrible, but some of the art was really perplexing. Like the first panel of the centre of Newcastle,
Yes,
the angles are weird.
It's very it's very clean. Like he does a lot of detail, but then like there's parts of it that are clean. Like when he did that truck in the last issue, it was just kind of like, okay, this very clean looking truck with no grit or dirt or texture on it. And, they're walking along in the street and there's like no texture on some of the roads. And well, I guess that's not true in this one, but I don't know. Like the buildings look out of proportion to the woman and the child.
Yeah, and they're leaning, and it's just things like that. But even though it was very lucky that that little girl went past the pub at the right time to make the effect that happened, they're walking in different directions on the first page. So the chance of them getting the same location would be very rare. I did like the panel with the trolls with the drowning man. That was excellent. I thought that was really nicely done, and the colouring was lovely on that. The fight sequence where the one with the pipe seems to be hitting him on the top of his head. On the and I'm just thinking, this is one of our big bugbears in the films when people get hit by like metal bars and stuff. And I'm just thinking, you don't just walk that off. That when it hits you on the arm, it's probably cracked your arm at least, fractured it before it comes in for the next one. That's a bloody metal pipe onto his head, unless it's one of those tangent things that Flint tells us about, where it's not hitting his head, it's touching the wrong angle, and it's going to hit him in the stomach. You know what I mean? So I can't really tell. And if this is going to be how every week happens, that he meets the next character and he does something like this, and then he gets the tick every week, it'll be like, Jesus Christ. I mean, it might be like every 2 weeks, but I just feel as though it's like I said last week, I'm not interested in
dragging it out.
He's on his side quests for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah,
I did like the final images on the page where they've all exploded. I loved the guts all over the place and the feet and the heads and stuff. So I did like that. But it just seems to me it's not. It's higgledy-piggledy in what I like and what I don't like. You know what I mean? So it's like a 4 out of 10 sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, overall I like the artwork. Overall, I get that it's funny. It's it can be a little too silly at times. It feels like the same kind of show you would watch on a streaming channel where it's minimal special effects, but well done when you see them. But here's my thing I'll say in its favor. The problem that I've been having with 2000 AD for the past couple of years, it feels like now, is that it feels like most of the stories have been slow burn type things like this, and then maybe an action story or an epic or something. And so my rule is, you got a solid Dread story, and then you can do 2 or 3 other stories that are also action stories, solid action stories. And then like your 5th story can be the weird one that you're just trying to see what's going to stick. And that is, if this is that story, then you've got a pretty solid prog. But when all of the stories are slow, you follow this up with Thistlebone and a Future Shock and Hope for the Future and all these other ones that are just kind of like slow moving streaming shows in comic book form, then I'm like, well, why am I reading this? I'll just subscribe to Netflix for $12 or whatever it costs. So anyway,
does it remind you of geography in a way because it's fucking glacial?
yes.
Okay. Young Death fitting in. Tech W. Tom Foster, Simon Boland.
Is that me again?
Yeah, we're giving you some decent ones now.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So Sidney Death is trying to make a new ally with his partner Jane's, and she's kind of a free spirit, and so she gives him some uppers, and he takes more than he should, and they have a good old time right into the bar. And so he goes into the bar and kind of shake down the bartender a little bit, sticks a knife in the guy's hand and tells him it's going to be 10 years for trying to bribe a judge and having a concealed weapon under the counter. Actually, he had a button to call his goons, and so there's a quick gunfight with goons. And so James says, hey, now that we've both broken the law together, we're both connected, which is what the secret societies actually do. And then she says, we thought you were a narc, but actually you're pretty cool. There's some references to Eva Eastwood, who's like the gold standard judge, actually, which obviously these two characters are not. And she says, what did she say? Says something like, the real problem is people. And that's kind of like the phrase that sticks with him. So, when he becomes Judge Death, it'll be like the crime is life. So there you go. What did you all think of that?
There was loads of little bits in that I liked it. But loads of little bits that I really liked. There's that image where they approach the bar and the panel above is Death's teeth. You can see the proper Death's teeth in them with Sidney. That bit.
Oh yeah.
I love the bit where they're at the bar and they basically set him up, saying you've said the juvenile type of thing and the minor. It reminds me of a certain scene in let me think the cowboy film. Pick it up. You're pushing people. You're deliberately making them do something, and then you're going, right, we got you now. So I like that artwork. Really nice. Colors are fantastic. The only weird bit is because we got that alternate universe, the city blocks are different. So when you compare the city blocks of this to the one we just had in Dread, that's the only jarring thing. But it's an alternate universe, so I'll go with it. I said the colours were fantastic. There's a lot happening on each page. Once you get into after the knife stabbing, a lot happens and it's really well laid out. You know what I mean? The shootout and everything. And I love the sarcastic bit at the end where, well, it's not quite the end, is it? On the penultimate page again, where he says, you're going to stay here until the paddy wagon arrives and make sure I get my knife back. I did like that because he said, if I don't get it back, you're going to have another 5 years. And obviously, the knife's sticking out of the person's hand. And then on the final page, you've got the smoking, the interaction. I really, I don't know what it is, but I really like the fag packet on the left-hand side where you get that close-up of it and you get them all healed. They're not quite square because a couple have been taken out. But again, the colours are just fucking awesome on it. Even with the sort of redness background and her red hair still pops from the pages. And it's going to be interesting to see what this character, who she is in the grand scheme of things. So, and again, it was torture to see that bit at the very end saying the end, because I loved last week so much and I'm enjoying this one so much. And I'm just thinking, could we not have had like at least 5 parts to flesh out more?
Well, I think they're all one and done to introduce the 4 dark judges. The other,
well, that's it. Yeah,
3
that's
dark judges.
But I'd like it a little bit longer. You know what I mean? Because it's so enjoyable.
And this is Tom Foster's best artwork I've seen from him in a long time.
Yes, I was just going to say that too.
I mean,
by
you can see
far.
that on the bar scene where everyone, different angles, the reactions, the faces, the stances. You know, what I mean, he's casual as hell, just shooting at them. Yep. So that's it.
I mean, he started out heavily influenced by Bullen, but like he's kind of evolved into his own thing, but you can still see the Bullen vibes, but like in the best
No, he's like a
possible
mixture
way.
of Boland and Cliff Robinson.
Yeah, but in the best possible way of both, I think.
The best possible way.
Yeah, I really liked this. I thought it was really tight. It had character
she
stuff,
said.
it had action. It was just this is it. I mean, like I said, this is I can deal with Hearn and Schuck if the rest of the stories in the Prog are somewhere as good as this.
All right, Azimuth Cornered Part 2. Dan Abnett, Tazio Betten, Matt Soff, and Rob Steen.
Okay, so basically the Monitor is chasing Susie 9mm and Judge Anderson, not Judge Anderson, and God, I can't remember the guy's name. Dexter, changing Dexter through this labyrinth, and they're not supposed to look back at it, but the labyrinth is kind of closing in on him. Dexter sees himself the way he was when he was in download. The Monitor like recognizes him, approves him, and still attacks him. And the same thing happens to Susie 9mm. She sees how she was when she was alive and in download. And they decide like, oh, well, there's nowhere for him to upload that information to and let people out and through this labyrinth. So they're just trapped and it keeps moving in. So they're going to feed Anderson to it. The end.
Or your user's bait or something.
Well, I think they're gonna feed her. Well, they say they're gonna feed her to her because she's not from download, she's from someplace else. But yeah, I thought that was great too.
Feed it something that it can't digest.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, brilliant artwork. Just pottering along, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like you say, the interesting bit at the end. My favorite part for me was when she recognizes herself when she was alive, and the reaction, the tears, and the grief hitting her. That was really nicely portrayed, and you can see Dexter's anger, which makes you think: did he have a little bit of grief when he saw himself as well? But yeah, fantastic artwork, fantastic again, the colouring. I mean, we laugh sometimes when we see people saying the colorist doesn't get a mention on the front of cover of books and stuff on the cover, and you think, well, it's always going to be that way. But when you see, like we've seen in a couple of the stories up now, you have to mention how enjoyable the coloring is, because it really
Tom
enhances
Foster
it.
did his own coloring in the last.
Did he?
Yeah.
Does it say art and coloring? Does it?
Yeah, he did his own colors.
Nice. Yeah, yep. So Matt's off in this one. Yeah, well done, Matt. It's nice and there's no brightness to it. It's just that sort of like dull, dank sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, great artwork. So it's just the usual thing with Sinister Dexter. It's just it gives you the illusion of moving forward, but it's kind of like
still.
It's in quicksand.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's moving, but not particularly
on a
fast. But it's enjoyable. The trick he plays is it's enjoyable as you're reading it, so it's fine.
All right, The Discarded Part 3. Pete Milligan, Kieran McKeown, Jim Boswell, and Simon Boland.
All right,
Detective,
I'm doing this. This is you. Go.
Detective Vera Banksy travels across the island towards her target, not realizing that she's not acting like fellow inmates, but talking a bit like a pig. She meets a few people over her journey with mixed reactions until she's caught by a group of men and knocked out. When she wakes up, she's tied on top of a car in a sacrificial style as some weirdo preaches to his flock about her. So yeah, she's been caught and she's now back in California.
Yeah.
Nice artwork.
Yep.
That's it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm into
It's
it.
Pete Milligan. I expected to go tits up, so I don't get involved with it.
I know, but I'm gonna give it a chance until that happens. If I can do that for the Rob Williams stories, I can do it for good old Pete. I'm into it. The world building's fine. The character stuff's a little like heavy-handed, but you know, it's that kind of comic. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, the world building's interesting. The story's going along. I don't remember what it was about Bad Company that was so bad, other than it was so bad. And I remember what was the other?
Did it continue too long? Was that the thing with Bad Company?
There was that, and it just was like the characters didn't see. It didn't even feel like the
It
same
was absolutely
characters.
horrendous.
Yeah, and then what was the other? I keep calling it Calendar Girl, but what was the other one?
Then you had the one about the immigrants going to a planet or something.
Oh yeah, that was. So
I think the common denominator in both those strips was Rufus Dayglow, who's terrible.
It wasn't the artwork. It wasn't just the artwork though. It was like trying too hard to be like this wackadoo deadline type story 20 years past deadline's deadline. So I don't know, but this one feels like a old timey. Again, it feels like an old timey 2000 AD story. Apparently there's a strong female lead
with daddy issues.
Just
but
like
even that,
Jaeger.
But more enjoyable than Jaeger so far, because it's not its own new thing. It's not shoehorned into the Rogue Trooper universe, or it's not trying to cash in on the memory of Bad Company, and it's its own thing. So yeah, I'm digging it, and the art's great. So nothing but nice things to say about this one.
What do you think
so
John?
far?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know, just you're watching like an excellent TV series when a couple of episodes of shit. This is like that to me. I'm not saying it's shit. I'm just saying it's nothing exciting. You know what I mean? It's like a Pooh Man's Escape from New York type thing initially. She's going off to find her dad and say, "Oh, boring." I know, like I said from last week, that explosion on her chest. There's just too much risk of that going off or something happening to it, because she got knocked out for a start by those people with a whack which across her head. But who knows what she could have been hit with? You know what I mean? So artwork's very nice darkness to it, and the fire's got some nice reflections. But to me, it's like, if it wasn't in, I wouldn't miss it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so to be fair, maybe I am overpraising it, but
you're allowed to have your own opinions, Mr. Ross. We're not going to beat you up afterwards.
So this is like
we're not like the left who eventually eat themselves. We are a forgiving threesome. Hooray.
This is a solid second tier 2000 AD story, which, given how the Prog's been going for the past couple of years, we haven't even been getting this. So I'm very happy to have it. Will I remember it 20 years from now when they reprint it in the magazine? I don't know, but we'll see. We'll have to see where it goes from here. But like, again, I would much rather see this than some of the other stuff that they've been running lately. So so far so good. Just keep it up.
All right, what was your favorite? Mine was the Judge Death.
Yeah, mine's Young Death. I just love it. It's the one. Over these last 2 weeks, these have just been, for me, just so interesting, so exciting. Well laid out, brilliantly drawn, lovely colours. And every time I've wanted more, and I've been upset that I've seen it says the end.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you guys. This time we're unanimous on that.
Sweet. So, anything you say before we hit the road?
I got one thing for Mr. Ross. Did you accept that thing from the Day of Sin Facebook group?
No, I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to take a look at
Oh,
it.
there's a thing that says you can invite friends to it. So I ticked your name and sent an invite out.
Oh, how am I gonna get over there?
Well, it shows you lots of stuff that they get up to as well, you know what I mean? So you can enjoy that.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. If there's videos and stuff, I'd love to see that. So
Oh, yeah. And some
I get to
singing.
see old people, old people in pretty bad cosplay. That's. But you know what? I freaking love those books. I love that character, and I love those books. So I'll check it out.
Yes.
So, thanks.
That's all right.
All right. We'll stop recording.